to Val.
Welcome to what will probably eventually be a veganism debate, although I'm not sure because we're already a little off the rails with what's happening in the comments, but don't threaten me with a derailment at the beginning of my stream, okay? That's what the panel is all about. If you want to join what is, I can almost promise, is going to be a lot of chaos, you can click the link that's pinned at the top of the chat. It's also in the description if you think about it, and you must. Good to see you, StreamYard, my ever-faithful hosting platform. Good to see you, Confluence, my ever-faithful self. Good to see you, Mara, who's getting a little unhinged, getting a little wild, getting a little freaky deaky. That's okay. We love you, Mara. Good to see you, Grillapolis. Good to see you, Tyler. Good to see you, Jess. And I think that was it. And me and Meryl were talking a bunch about a lot of drama that's been happening in the Discord. First of all, if you want to join Discord, be a part of the drama, I mean, I will post a link for you. Okay, you're probably already in it, which is probably how you got here so fast. But if you didn't, we'll see. Might fuck around and skip the gym for this one. See, yeah, well, we could go back to that. You know, once Brandon is here, okay, if he comes back. Because this is the one thing I'll say, and then I'll let whoever wants to join come up. I want to say that, you know, as someone who's becoming a pescatarian, someone who eats fish and still eats, you know, non-vegan products, I feel like I'm getting a little crazy. I don't want to go too far, you know? So this video has a lot of abject lunacy from the vegan camp, okay? Which is good to be grounded, because I got to remember, I'm making strange bedfellows by even becoming a pescatarian at all, okay? And it's helpful to remind oneself of that. We have two individuals in the back. We got Sam Hyde himself. Is that the ghost of Kiev? I meant to say. How's it going, Tyler? And we got Big Soda. And we probably will have Mara, okay? Mara wants to join. She wants to talk about what's happening, okay? But you know what? Fuck it. We'll do it live, Confluence? You know? I don't know what happened today. Her thing with Ghost Cat, I'm not sure. Us getting her banned, I don't know. She wants to come up. She wants to rage at me. And so, of course, don't threaten me with a good time. But Marilyn's been giving me a lot of dopamine, but a ton of cortisol. And I don't know if it's like, if the juice is worth the squeeze on the cortisol part of it, because it's a lot of stress. But good to see you, Mara. How's it going?
Yeah, it's good.
Let's start it off with the super chat before Mara yells at me. I'm just kidding. Maybe Mara's not going to yell. Radio says, do people have reverence for the animal that gave its life so your family can eat? A bad thing? I don't think it is. I actually think I would agree on that one. Like, if you're one of those indigenous people or whatever, I'm sure a lot of people do this, right? And you're like giving thanks to the animal, then I understand it. I would still maybe question, as a newfound pescatarian, you know, why you would need to do it in like modern society. But yeah, if you're like a people group and you're doing this, I mean, I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. It's at least closer than what other people do. I would kind of controversially argue that a lot of hunters are actually just doing it for the thrill of the game they're not actually doing it to like feed their family. Some people might eat it, okay? Some people might do it, but they're doing it because it's a sport, because it's fun, and then it starts to feel a little sadistic at times. It's like, is killing something fun? Like if a young kid is just killing an animal for fun, but then happens to eat it after, I would still say that kid's got problems. He's like, So
were you vegan before you were pescatarian?
No, I used to be vegetarian for like 3 or 2 years, a long time ago. I was also a pescatarian for like 3 years, a long time ago. But then like 7 years ago, then I just started going back to eating meat. But now recently, I've been convinced that I'm going back to my pescatarian roots.
Yes, fish don't have feelings.
Fish don't have feelings. That's true. Kurt Cobain said that.
Why not go full vegan? We're supposed to take care of the animals. Why not go full vegan?
I don't think it's bad to eat like I think I have this weird thing where I've said this to Brandon before, although Brandon said someone died, so I don't know who that is. I don't know who Sam Neill is.
Oh yeah, the Jurassic Park guy.
Oh
yeah, so did Lindsey Graham. That one's a big hit to the heart as well.
Yeah, but I think BB's still crying over that one.
Christian and vegetarian.
I think animals want us to eat their like milk and stuff. No, I think like bees want to make honey so that humans can eat it. I think it's like a nice symbiotic relationship. We give the bees a home, the bees give us honey. I think it kind of like works out. Well, we got World Radio, I think, in the back. World Radio, just type in chat so I know it's you. No, it's not an impersonator because I can't remember what your thing was. I'm pretty sure it's you. Okay, it is you. Good to see you, World Radio.
Hey, welcome, guys.
What's up, buddy?
Welcome. So, Marilyn, are you asking me these questions because do you not think eating animal products would be taking care of animals, or are you like trying to pressure test my worldview?
I'm saying God said if you're lukewarm, he'll spit you out of his mouth. Either do what he said in the beginning, eat the nuts and seeds that he gave you and fruits and vegetables, or eat meat. Eat all the fucking meat you want to, excuse my language, all the meat you want to eat. Don't sit there and be weird. Don't be like weird.
Wait, how is that? How is that in the middle?
Because you're still eating animals. You're still participating in the sacrifice.
With the fish thing, I get. The veganism thing, I don't get that. Because I think, like, even if we go back to, like, biblical stuff, right? I don't see why, back in the day, if you own... Like, I've said this before with Brandon. Even Brandon, as a vegan, agrees with me that let's say you just own a chicken and the chicken's making eggs. Brandon's like, there's nothing wrong. You're not harming a chicken by going and eating those eggs. Right? Like, the harm comes from modifying the chickens, with... hormones and shit and breeding them a certain way.
You're not harming the chicken.
Oh man, bro science.
You're not harming the chicken by eating the egg, but guess what? Who wants to eat chicken, period?
Man.
Who wants to eat chicken, period?
You gave me a little heart attack, Tyler.
You don't like shit. For the other animals to eat, it's literally chicken, period.
Boiled chicken, period. Pretty good, pretty fantastic.
Disgusting, bro. And you know that egg smell just stays on you.
You ever taken chicken, period, and poached it, and then put it in a sauce made of more chicken, period, called béarnaise? It's really fantastic.
I like a chicken egg yolk all well, but I could do without it, bro. I could.
But you do like it, though.
Brandon said you like it. Brandon says you do get the veganism thing. You were ethically vegan by my life. You associate veganism with the, I guess, but I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with drinking milk. I guess if we agree on the egg thing, you'd agree on the milk thing too.
No, because you can make coconut milk. You can get milk from plants and sheep. You don't need to drink it from the tit. You don't need to drink it from the tit of an animal that has 7 stomachs. Like, just shut up. Gross. Stop being gross. Everybody stop being so freaking gross.
What's the limit?
Tyler, you're muted. I don't know if you know you're muted.
You cut the bark of the goat tree, and then goat milk comes out of the goat tree. The inside of the goat tree is made of goat cheese.
This is so unnecessary.
Yeah, how many almonds have to be slaughtered for everyone to have milk?
That's true. What does it look like to milk an almond precisely? I don't even know why we call that shit milk. To trick the
How many gophers, bulls, squirrels do we need to murder?
Almonds want you to eat them. Almonds want you to eat them.
At least 7,000 per
almonds
acre.
do.
Oh, do almonds want me to milk them?
You should get consent first for that one, probably.
Well, see, what happens is almonds are so small it requires child hands. So the entire almond milk industry is
too many stomachs. It's got too many stomachs to be drinking its milk.
Let him land this. That was funny as fuck.
Hold on, Maryland.
We had on Discord.
Maryland,
was it 110 countries they were kicked out of? What is it, 109? It's like they were all
No, I thought we were talking about veganism.
Bro, we're talking about how many stomachs the cow has. You shouldn't be drinking cow tit.
We're talking about
why do cows have 109 stomachs? I don't understand.
Almond milk, Maryland.
You can make almond milk. You can make cashew milk. You can make coconut milk, which is the most logical would be coconut milk, not freaking almond milk.
Maryland, you're not listening.
We know something about you.
Unreal.
You're not listening, Marilyn. What I'm telling you is almonds are so small it requires child hands to milk them. And hold on. The entire almond milk industry is propped up by PDF file Blue Jays, and you're accepting this.
I think
you don't understand what words mean. You need to understand what words mean and see that almond milk is a Jew creation. 109 types
it's
of
for
milk.
the goyim. That's what I said. Like it's goy milk. It's not soy milk. Holy shit!
It's
goy milk.
I would actually probably buy that.
Goy milk?
I'd buy some goy milk.
There's a discussion that has been burning in my brain with Tyler.
In your bosom.
With Tyler, that has nothing to do with Discord today. That pissed me off so bad. But
okay.
When we were talking about how we were disagreeing on how after World War I, Hitler was trying to get land back from from Poland that was taken from them, and everybody went to war with Hitler because of it. But I'm going to read you some background of why he was trying to take that land. We're going to take a little history lesson, and everybody needs to listen.
Maryland's pulling out the protocols right now.
No one's disagreeing with the thought that he thought that. Like we agree that he thought that. I'm telling you, he's wrong.
History lesson with you. Let's go. Adolf Hitler's campaign to reclaim land lost to Poland was the primary catalyst for the outbreak of World War II in Europe. The basis for these territorial claims and the ensuing events unfolded as follows. The background treaty of Versailles Versailles.
You're reading off of AI, which is fine, but go ahead.
It's not AI. The treaties of what?
Versailles.
Reestablished an independent Poland. This required Germany to cede territory, most notably the Polish Corridor, a strip of land that gave Poland access to the Balsamic Sea, but separated the German region of East Persia from the rest of Germany. Additionally, predominantly, German city of Danzig was made a semi-autonomous free city under League of Nations protection. Okay, hold on. Hitler's demands, the Danzig crisis. In early 1939, Hitler escalated aggressive foreign policy to reclaim these territories. He demanded that Poland allow the free city of Danzig to be directly annexed to Nazi Germany, grant Germany an extraterritorial strip of land across the Polish corridor to build highways and railways connecting directly to East Prussia. And to join the anti-Comintern Pact, effectively making Poland a German satellite state. So he wanted. They made sure to cut off all of that, which
everything you just said.
Their direct contact with their people that they
Grant, everything you
traded
just
with,
said,
that was
Marilyn, I'm
basically
agreeing
a
with
part
you.
of
Just a quick
Germany.
question.
Everything you just said, Grant, hold on, let me address it real quick. It'll be quick. Marilyn, Grant, everything you just said, what you're doing is you're starting history at a specific moment and ignoring all the context that came before
I
it.
am
That was,
telling
hold on. Let me give the whole sentence out. Marilyn,
I'm not starting just
wait, let me get the whole sentence out. What happened is Hitler was trying to reclaim land that Germany took from other nations in World War One that was taken away from them.
There was, but still, that land was taken from Germany too. Some of that land.
Jump in there, Isaac.
There should not have been.
Yeah.
There
I
should
do have a question for Marilyn.
Any reason why there should have been a boundary or something set in place where they could no longer get to those places after World War One, because those were people they traded with, people that were their allies. There's no reason there should have been a separation with them controlling all of these import export regions and being able to set up sanctions to not let other countries do their business.
Okay, let's loop Isaac in on this.
No. Just considering what happened during World War One, and the apparatus that took land, then seceded it. How did that make you feel about Danzig making the hit "Mother" after World War II?
Say that again.
Danzig made the hit "Mother" after World War II. How does that affect you with the Third Reich?
I don't know what you're saying to me.
Mother, do you want to find hell with me?
Oh, let's fucking go.
I'll show you everything.
You and Tessie,
We got the testicle lord himself.
Great song, dude.
You incite violence. You incite violence, because I swear every time I say you know who is a hero, and I can't even say who it is because of you.
You did though.
Yeah, he did like 3 times.
Violence by just saying and asking who
Brandon,
the worst people in the world and making a list. And for y'all to say that he was the worst.
1940s Hugo Boss models.
Yeah, Hugo Boss. The Nazis did have a good
You're
time.
puppets.
I just want to start on the 109/110 countries.
Okay, let's go into that in a second. Good to see you, Kokomo. One of the funnest names to say on YouTube. Sorry, Maryland, chicken nuggets are too delicious. I don't even think Maryland wants to, be a vegan.
Chicken nuggets are delicious. Yeah, that's true.
You're too delicious.
I mean, thank you,
Kokomo, for the $5.
No, if everybody went vegan, I would go vegan. But if you succubuses want to just eat the flesh of animals, I'll eat the flesh for the animals with you.
That's true. I'll stop killing people when everyone else on Earth stops killing people. I agree with you, Marilyn. I would totally stop killing, but as long as one person's killing, why the fuck would I stop? I agree.
It does make one point of order.
Vegan coded.
Just one quick point of order. Brendan's got 2 guns out on stream, and I would like him to put those away.
That's true. You can show firearms on live, Brandon.
Yeah,
okay?
Brandon, come on. Whoa, come on.
Yes. We're all God, and we have the same mentality as God. God was like, you know what? Y'all piss me off so much, I'm literally going to come in the flesh and die for you people.
Please don't come on.
Mentality. It's like, I am so
Phrasing.
I'm cool with all the I am God stuff. That's totally fine. It's just like the whole Jews are the Antichrist thing, I think, is a little.
But they are exactly. It's not persecuting them or saying anything bad about them. They are literally not for Christ. They are literally I am anti-Christ. They're not like, I don't know Christ. Oh, I believe in Muhammad, so I don't think Christ is the greatest or whatever because I subscribe to Muhammad. No, it's not Hindu or spiritual paganism or anything like it is anti
Right.
Right.
I understand. So what should we do about them?
Gas them.
What you're telling me is that
where's my Maryland disavow?
No, don't, because now you're changing the subject.
Yeah, don't disavow it.
Don't disavow. All right.
So you're
fuck.
No, okay. I'm trying to follow you. So
saying some kind of terrorist for saying that.
being descriptive. You're saying Jews are the Antichrist. So, like, what?
It's just a fact.
So okay.
The allegation was stochastic terrorism, not actual terrorism, Marilyn. It's just that if you're saying comments that are going to make people do an act, there's an argument that you might cause a small segment of population to maybe do something extreme.
But why are you putting that on me, Ricky Bobby, when I believe everyone is God?
I don't know if everyone ever hears you know. World Radio, 5 for 5, Marilyn. You're a kind of crazy. I not listen to what you said and focus on how you look. I'm not discounting you at all.
Crazy times.
Thank you, World Radio.
Is that 5 minutes?
Times.
Oh yeah, probably right.
I
forgot I have a mute mechanism. I'm assuming this is.
Yeah, you need to clarify. Is that what you meant?
I'm assuming. Fair. Yeah, Isaac, is that what you meant?
It's not fair. Y'all move the bar every time I correct you and against you.
But you didn't make one claim. You made like 3 in one.
Yeah, you just keep.
I'm not coming to make a claim. I'm not coming to make a claim. I am saying literally history facts.
Straight up.
Right, but okay. So if I'm just being descriptive,
science, bitch.
If I am being descriptive, I'm saying that this is just how things are. These are just facts about the world.
If I say the Jews got kicked out of 109 to 110 countries, you should go look it up and say, "Oh wow,
they didn't."
Be like,
Marilyn, we've probably all looked it up, and it's such a bullshit list. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like that number is a meme number. There is even when people try to quantify it, because the best I can find is like weird 4chan posts where people try to list them out. Like so many things are double counted. They count like any type of pogrom or exiling, no matter how many times they have in one country. The actual list of countries would be so much smaller. There's like maybe 109 events of people being anti-Semitic that you can find in like regional areas that overlap with the same regional area.
You don't understand. You don't get it.
Okay, so again, being descriptive, we're just saying, hey, this is how the world is. Without a prescription, like, aren't you like, who cares then? Like you're just saying, like, what are we supposed to do about it? If there's no prescription attached to it, then
yeah. But you wanted a Fed post, Testy. That's the. Do we want to know what Marilyn wants?
I know what I'm getting at. Yeah, I'm sorry, Confluence, but like, I don't like people because she's clear. She's saying I'm not it is hiding the power level. Because if you're going to call Jews the Antichrist like that, or call H-man,
it's not
how inflammatory that is. And then
what are we supposed to do about the Antichrist? That's what he's getting at.
Color that they want in their color. Yeah. I don't hate anybody except this one particular race.
Why are you denying that they are Antichrist?
Like these people.
Why are you denying that they are Antichrist? Why are you denying it?
I accepted the premise. I'm saying, sure. Let's say that's true. What should we do about it?
Because you haven't proven it. For me, but
I'm accepting the premise for the sake of argument.
We just shouldn't support them. We shouldn't support them. We shouldn't say, "Hey, let's send money to Israel."
Israel are all Jews.
Genocide.
Hey. Don't talk about geopolitics though, because when you shift to that, we're hiring other armies to do fighting for us that we want. Why would you want U.S. soldiers to die if we can hire the Jews to do it for us?
Say Israel is
other.
Yeah, they do. They were unilateralists. Ukraine and Israel fighting their battles.
No, I'm saying they don't really do it.
They don't like killing their own people. They like sending Americans and sending Iranians. They don't like fighting in their own
familiar with Balsamic Sea, all right? So I'm not like a history expert, but like I'm just trying to
I love that.
You gotta get with the history. You don't remember when he crossed the Balsamic? That was like a huge point in like World War VIII.
Yeah, I think
on Thursday, there's going to be a 110th country that's going to expel the Jews when I kick Kirk's ass out of this bitch and destroy him. It's happening here Thursday.
That's a good promo. Cut that. Put it on Twitter.
Oh, Marilyn dropped.
Rage quit.
I saw Isaac. I saw Danzig live. He was like already ancient. Like he was, but
yeah, you saw him in the last 20 years. He was already old.
Yeah, he's been old as fuck forever. But the fact that he still was able to tour for that long, it was still like a legend. To see
he had like 3 songs that I go, man, that's pretty good. Outside of that, I was like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not something.
But that being said, mother, do you want to bang heads with me?
Futoy, it's in like 2 places, but just for you, Futoy, I'll put it in a 3rd location, okay?
Oh, there's already so much talking.
Yeah, I was gonna say if Marilyn and Butoy come
I don't
on,
think
then
there's enough over talking. I don't think there's been enough. Okay.
I apologize, Marilyn.
But let's
I didn't
rope
mean
Brandon
to-
in and what he thinks about all this Almond atrocities.
yeah, do you think the Jews are the Antichrist?
No.
God damn. I don't even know what that means. Probably not.
Sorry, you're open-minded.
Put the link in
Hey, Butoy.
The
Sorry
Jews
about
are
that.
non-bred. They're non.
Hello, everybody.
By the way,
Except for Tyler.
I loved you in God of War.
Hello,
Thanks,
everybody
man.
except Tyler.
That was the boy.
What's up, Butoy? Your mic is a little quiet for me. I don't know about anybody else.
Oh, it's perfect for me.
Yeah, it might be a little too loud.
What's up, Fugoi?
Futoy, what do you Futoy, what do you think about eating animals?
You're
Let's bring
muted.
it back to that.
I don't think I've ever.
What do I think about what?
Should we clockwise,
Eating
snakewise?
animals.
Are we
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
go on
Actually, yeah,
vegan?
we got enough people. Clockwise, snakewise, just so we know whatever its position is. Why do you think it's right or wrong to eat meat / animal products? Like, what is your justification if you think it's right? What's your justification if you think it's mostly wrong? Starting with you, sailed the balsamic. 30 seconds, roughly, and then we'll move to the next one. Clockwise, snakewise, no crosstalk.
I just don't think it really matters that much, and it's part of nature. So, like, anyone really trying to like give animals some right above humans or equal to humans, to me, are just ideologues trying to make up a victim class because we solved almost all of our major problems as a society.
All right, Big Soda.
Well, I would say that if I view good to be the will of God and God doesn't tell me to explicitly not eat animals, then I don't find it to be morally untoward to eat animals. I think you can get in some gray areas of like factory farming or like pumping them full of chemicals, but just the actics itself, I don't think is immoral.
I'm writing a little note for you, Big Soda. All right,
You write those notes.
Isaac.
Yeah, I believe that anyone that says that they don't eat meat on a morality issue are able to do so based off the backs of people that work, that are blue collars, that eat meat, that that produce the basis of this country that allows them to be so fucking stuck up with a fucking feather up their ass.
All right,
Person.
Brandon called out to Sticker Johnson.
So my answer is going to sound a bit cocked because it sounds like it's on the fence, but it's not. So I am heavily against industrialized farming. I think that's one of the worst things for the planet, period. I think that it would be better to have like smaller localized farming practices that are more quote unquote humane. Ultimately, what I say is that I do think that the vegans have the moral high ground because I have never been able to reach like a logical conclusion other than to say that I enjoy the taste of meat, and that my wants are more important than the suffering of animals. That's literally the bullet that I have to bite because I do believe large swaths of the population don't have a choice. I think that they burn like wood for heat. Like there are certain conditions that are out in the world where it's that or starve to death. So, but I don't think in the West, especially, we are faced with that dilemma. And so at a certain point, it is, it could be cost prohibitive if you're poor enough, but at the same time, I think the majority of people probably could switch over to a vegan diet, myself included, if I put my mind to it. But end of the day, yeah, that's kind of my take. It's partly laziness. I just think that it's convenience, it's habit, and I have issues with industrialized farming, but yeah, I kind of still bite the bullet.
Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah, it's probably wrong. If you don't think it's wrong, you're probably a psychopath, or your view probably entails some sort of contradiction. Or at least your stated view would sound absurd to most people, or at least a lot of people. Is there anything else I really want to say? No, it's bad. Don't do it.
Right, Futoy.
Hold on. I'm from.
What the fuck?
I had you in the wrong order, Kirk. I got my snake confused because Futoy was here first, so I tried to put you at the back, but I got my snake mixed up. So Futoy and then Kirk.
I've actually thought about this a lot because I've tried to go vegan multiple times, and unfortunately, I failed every time for the reason that the farming is so unethical to the animals, and the fact that we eat animals is just fucking crazy as well. But when I look at it, we have teeth to eat meat, vegetables, nuts. Right, a very varied diet that includes meat. When you look at nature feasts on itself carnivorously. So, as part of nature, I feel that it's part of me to eat meat. Unfortunately.
All right, Cool Kid Kirk, please.
My name is Cool Kid Kirk, not Cool Kid Kirk, please. But I'll respond. We've talked a bit in the past about psychopathology, and I agree with Jasper's definition that to be psychotic means to deny evidence when it's confronted to you, and basically, because animals don't have the capacity for rational self-reflection, because they don't have the ability to assess what is true and false and be self-critical, they don't have self-consciousness in that sense, then I don't think it's unethical to eat meat, because if you're not capable of reflecting on the truth and falsity of things, or being self-conscious, then ethics doesn't apply to you.
Okay, that's crazy. And Confluence, don't forget about me. Don't forget about me, you guys. I would say I'll save the crosstalk, but yeah, I guess I will steal a little bit to jump off briefly to express my point, maybe on what World Radio said, that I agree. This is where I'm coming to now, maybe, that yes, obviously we're able to do these things based on the backs of people working, society's advancements, technological advancements, all this stuff. And as Testy also said, right, there's people in other parts of the world that can't do this. Maybe what I would posit is, maybe as your morality improves, as the technology improves, as your society gets better, there's more moral considerations that we should enter into. So like back in the day, there's going to be people who have like disabilities, and probably they're going to die. This still happens in places like the Philippines, where it's just like there's not enough resources to take care of these people. A lot of them just end up dying, right, with severe like mental and physical disabilities. But now in like the current day, when we have the ability to do this, then maybe there's like a ought that we should take care of like severely disabled people and put them in the care homes. Perhaps the same thing is true of animals, and maybe we should consider the suffering that is involved there.
Yeah.
Crosstalk enabled.
Kirk stole my fucking point.
Well, the fact that I'm philosophically intelligent doesn't mean that I stole your point. It just means that we
No, you didn't.
You had the worst point of anyone.
No, I made the point like a practical,
maybe not,
normal
but
human being would. That human beings are above these things, and just like plants, we can have them as pets. We can keep them in our house, but we're humans. We're a higher species, and this is our food.
I have a question.
Eat it.
I have a question to kick things off. So if you would you? What's the most inflammatory way to phrase this? Do you think that what's worse, rape or grape or murder?
Murder.
Oh,
Right.
you're gonna ask the Destiny question from 2 years ago.
Why would it be immoral if I were to want to eat a chicken, for example? Why would it be somehow not acceptable to grape it, but it would be acceptable to kill it?
Wasn't it said on this panel that someone said you can't have sex with a chicken? I can't remember where that came
because
from.
if you're the type of person who's so degenerate that you want to have sex with a chicken to begin with, then you clearly have something mentally wrong with you.
You have sex with it.
Because you're not murdering the chicken.
You kill it.
You're killing it for food.
Hear me out. Sex first, and then
No, I'm not going to hear you out. That's fucking.
No, you're not murdering the chicken. You're killing it for food.
Yeah,
That's the answer.
I'm saying, why can't you do both?
Because
Wait, no. Dark Tactical, why would you want to do both?
I don't want to.
No. But that's the other end of the stick. Why do you want to do both?
Well, that's what I'm saying is that basically, if you're so sick in the head that you want to rape a chicken to begin with, then that's clearly a reflection on you.
But that doesn't deal with what Testy's asking. He's asking, well, if murder is more wrong than grape, then what would be the issue with graping it?
Yeah, I get it. And they're trying to cop out argument, you guys, with some fucking ad hom. I get that. I'm trying to answer it sincerely. You're not murdering it. You're killing it for sustenance. You're killing it because it's food for survival, the same way you're killing a plant when you pick it.
Right, that's not wrong, but graping it Would that be
you
wrong?
can choose not
That's
to
what he's
raise
getting
it
at.
and survive.
Yes, so would
You
murdering
can't
it.
choose not to kill it and
Well-
have sustenance for your family.
What did I
We
miss?
got to try to take this one person at a
Oh,
time. It's
Marilyn's
not
back.
going to work.
By the way, hey
Yeah,
guys,
it's hard.
guys, the crazy one's back though.
It's Confluence's panel. I'll let him do him.
Confluence can't moderate. He's gonna let him go.
He enjoys it too much. He's not going to.
Put this. Yeah, why would I
Guys,
hurt my own buds here?
you know the movie Alive.
Clockwise, snake-wise
you know the movie Alive,
questions
guys,
and
where they
answers.
crash the plane up a mountain and they have nothing to eat. They run out of food, so they have to eat the dead. Would you do that? I wouldn't even think
You
about
mean
it. It
for
wouldn't it's not even a
survival,
question
not
to
for getting
me.
your rocks off for survival. Not
You
for
know-
getting your rocks off.
I think it's easy to say you wouldn't think about it until you're like starving to death, and then maybe
No,
you
I'd
think
eat it.
about it.
I'd eat human. Well, what's the difference between human and cow? Like,
Oh, I thought you were saying that you wouldn't eat a human.
Oh, no, I wouldn't even think about it. While they're discussing it, I'd be cooking
Okay, that's
it.
maybe more concerning than what I thought you were originally saying.
You made that a premise.
You should at least give it some
Let me think
consideration.
about you.
We should eat for fun. We're the image of God. We should eat for fun. Not for
That's what Jeffrey
survival.
Dahmer said too.
What is Marilyn?
He did say that. That is in the documentary.
Marilyn, what do you eat for
And
fun?
every fat person.
My favorite Jeffrey Dahmer quote is, "I don't taste Five Guys." But he went out to a takeaway.
You know what? That was all right. That was all right.
I think that's
I
an
wanna- wait,
average
before I
Red quote.
leave out, I want to go to my testy, or not my testy point, my big soda question. So big soda, what you said that I have take issue with, okay, is you were saying, well, God didn't tell me specifically not to do this. I guess I want to ask, is that how you treat all morality? Like if there was no passage in the Bible that told you not to do some heinous act, would you be like, well, God didn't specifically tell me not to do this, and therefore I can do this? I would argue there's a lot of morality that you would hold that you're just kind of gathering from principles and stuff, or would you disagree?
It's just originalism versus textualism.
But I guess that morality in itself would just be a preference based thing. It would be like, I don't know how I could then tie it back to morality. Like, give me an example of something you think.
Like, okay, I guess when we're talking to the ortho bros and they're talking about like the marital grape and it not existing and stuff, like it's not like I don't need a Bible passage to tell me that's like nonsense, right? Like I think I'm using a Christian framework. But I think that's what we're supposed to do as rational agents. We're given the Bible, we have this morality, but I don't think we're supposed to codify it as this law of like, well, did God specifically say I couldn't do this? Or like, I don't know, something like, sex robots. It's like, well, that's not a thing. I would think that's probably wrong to like have sex with a sex robot, but I can't really sit there and be like, well, yeah, it's not in the Bible. God didn't tell me not to fuck a sex robot. I would just kind of extrapolate what I think God's view for sex is that's expressed and extrapolate that into these circumstances. I understand it's different because obviously they had the ability to eat animals then and they ate animals, but there's a lot of stuff like that. Like even with slavery, right? There's a lot of lines that it's very hard to find a specific part of the Bible that says don't do this level of slavery. It's kind of a steady slope of morality, and we kind of punt into the future of what we think Christ would look like now.
Look at Confluence Sotomayor over here.
Robots as testy.
I would say that's fair, but I mean,
it's crazy.
Your first two example, me being a Protestant, I would probably tie those to sexual immorality. Your example about slavery, I guess you would have a stronger point just because, I mean, I don't know. Even Jesus said, we view each other as brothers and no longer, slave nor free. And so, I think it would still be preference based. I mean, I don't know how I would then tie if God says not to do it.
I got you.
And
I got you.
Yeah, go for it.
I got you. Okay. God created your mind, right? God created your mind to be truth tracking. Intuitions are a part of your mind. Intuitions are truth tracking. You have the intuition that killing animals for food is wrong, or maybe you don't have that intuition, therefore it's not wrong. Or probably not wrong. That's like a piece of evidence. There you go.
I feel it in my gut.
Yeah.
That's not terrible.
Vibes.
Hell yeah.
I don't like that we're using intuition against me, and I don't like we're calling intuition vibes. Okay, I got a lot of issues with what Brandon just said. Okay, so
it's just, I guess I don't know what then takes, like, because if you're eating animals for survival, that would be morally okay. And then what's then the threshold that separates that?
I guess the reason why you're eating the animal, I would say, right? If you're eating an animal for survival, then I don't think anyone, like I don't think Brandon would say that's wrong either, from what we've talked about. Like,
but
if you're
that
truly
threshold crossed, like what specifically is the point?
I would say it's like all intention, right? Or sorry, it's all morality is in my mind intention based. Why are you eating those chicken nuggets? Is it truly to survive, or is it because you like the taste? I think for most people in Western society, you're doing it because you like the taste, right? Myself included. That's why I still am eating fish. It's not like I need to eat fish. I think people cope when they're like, oh, I need this amount of protein, or I need this amount of whatever, or I'm doing it to survive. It's like, I could not have sushi. I just really like sushi. I don't really care that much about fish. I don't really think they're capable of suffering. So that's my justification to continue to eat fish.
Well, actually, but when you're talking about the
wait, Kirk, hold on, a big second, and then you.
Yeah, one last point. So if I live in the woods and I make my own McDonald's chicken nuggets and I decide to eat them, is that morally wrong?
If you don't
have this is what I have to survive, it's not morally wrong. It would just be the intent of, hey, I'm going up to the street to McDonald's to get chicken nuggets, to then just to eat.
I think
it's not just like.
I think everything's about intent. So I would say,
price. What about, like, I go to the store and it's way cheaper to buy chicken than to buy that amount of protein I need to grow these fucking massive arms in spinach and mushrooms, and I don't want to eat that shit all fucking day. So why not buy chicken? It's only $10 and I get all the chicken I need.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is confluence. When you're talking about like evolutionary biology and why we eat meat, like basically, which is Darwinian evolution with Mendelian genetics, like the reason that we evolved to be predisposed to be omnivores is because of the fact that basically the food that was healthiest for us in the wild and that is the healthiest is a mixed diet. Our bodies best adapt to a mix of meat and vegetables.
It's the Jews.
I think that's a naturalistic fallacy if we're talking about morality. Because our bodies, like, there's a reason why people are like sex offenders, right? That unfortunately, there's a dark truth that that has like evolutionary benefits. That's why you see it so many times in the animal kingdom, right? That doesn't mean raping someone is okay, but there is a thing about certain species will do better if they like forcefully copulate with other things. That's an uncomfortable thing. You don't want to get your morality from like what could possibly work evolutionarily speaking. That's like a fucking awful way to get morality.
Like the Jews on Maryland.
If this whole world was covered in just massive fruit trees everywhere, every kind of fruit you could think of, every kind of vegetable and nuts and fruits, you'd be a whole lot less likely to eat animals.
So Jews are the reason we eat meat, is what you're saying.
Guys, hold on. Right, so vegans need to supplement vitamin B12.
Exactly
because you don't get it. You can only get it from meat, right?
Yeah, you can get it from certain types. I think moss.
And you know the only reason you get it from meat is because they have to inject the animals with B12, right?
No,
I believe so.
I'm pretty sure that's right.
No. Hear me out. So I can't. It was in the 50s. I want to say is when B12 was.
But even if that's true, it's.
So basically, for most of history, I think one of the reasons why vegans get a bad name is because for most of history, it was actually virtually impossible to be a vegan because of vitamin B12 specifically.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's just.
Oh my God, Brandon is right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Testy.
You brought up the same point. I was
World Radio
expanding on it, but
it says here, yes, animals are often given vitamin B12 injections. But the reason depends on the species and how they are raised. Wow.
Okay, so it might be like a fortified thing. Like sometimes they do that with certain foods. So maybe I know that it occurs.
Mentality.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's not hard to supplement B12 now, right?
No,
like that's not. The thing. It's like so. This seems to be still tying into the naturalistic. Like, what does our evolutionary scaffolding led us to do? I just don't think that's a good argument for morality. I think if we go in that path in a bunch of areas, we're going to end up in like bad things.
That's a good point. We're now at a stage where we can choose to do moral things or not.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, you
right.
But I am saying there is a bit of a, I guess, evolutionary or naturalistic perspective because, again, before the synthesis of vitamin B12, like humanity would not have been able to survive on a vegan diet. Like it just there are natural sources you can get it from, but it's like a massive amount of it. So
I don't
Look at
know.
this.
worth pointing
White
out.
monster,
Hey, look.
490% of
see
your
it?
daily needed vitamin B12.
Well, there you go.
Brandon said this last time. He said just drink
490%.
one white monster a day.
Wait, is that vegan?
How many B vitamins are there?
Yeah, is that code?
Do you guys remember?
Yeah, it's kosher.
before we used to fortify food?
Bull
Do you guys remember
sperm
before
or
we used to
something?
fortify food?
But they have
Okay,
bull
people are
let's
talking
go- let's
once.
go to Alex. Yeah, too many people talking at once, even for conflicts. Okay, Alex, what do you guys say?
I was gonna say, like, before we fortified food, people would have suffered from malnutrition all the time, right? Like this kind of stuff wasn't uncommon.
Yeah. That's why we fortify breakfast cereal so often in the U.S. and Canada, other developed nations, because it's really hard to get like kids all of their like vitamins and iron and stuff. It's just a challenge. That's why the government will come along and fortify these things.
Stop. Oh my gosh! If Jesus could feed 5,000 with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread and have a few that's left over,
You know what?
that you need vitamins? Why do you think that you need anything at all?
You don't think we need vitamins?
Hold on.
It's psyop. It's all
Hold on.
psyop. It's a
Hold
juku.
on. Do you think fish don't have vitamins?
Huh?
What
Do you
are
think there's
vitamins?
not vitamins in fish?
Psyop.
Man, you're on the wrong side of this. Like you're blaming the Jews for the pagan side. This is okay. So veganism is basically just leftist theory, rewriting history and rewriting the moral code that got us here, equating us to every other animal. It's paganism and anti-religious. I can't believe you're on this side.
True.
No, bro.
That's
We don't
actually
need
true.
the image of God. Why do we need vitamins? That's ridiculous.
Well, why do we need food at all if we're in the image of God?
Huh?
God doesn't eat.
She's a breatharian.
Yeah, I'm a breatharian. I don't believe in. I believe in to the point of not needing to eat anything at all. Never.
Well, damn.
Oh shit! You're gonna commit to what Brandon said, but that's cool.
Aren't all humans God? And would you say all humans are God?
Isn't it because Eve got us thrown out of the Garden of Eden? Isn't
You're
that
just
right?
cowards. You're
Aren't
just.
all animals God?
None of you want to harness energy to live forever. You're all just cowards. You're all
Marilyn, are all animals God?
like you're everyone before you. You're just
like
wicked.
You know what?
Perennium sunning.
I will accept that. I'm a coward.
Complex, you remember that, right? Sunning your butthole.
Remember what?
You can absorb energy through the sun with your butthole.
Yeah, you can. You can.
You can actually. You just have to bleach it first.
By breathing.
Yeah, you do have to bleach it.
Because I'm trying it tomorrow.
You guys can all do that too.
There you go. It's in the side chat. I'll put it in chat as well in case anybody's interested.
You know what I learned recently? You lose the most body fat. You don't lose the most body fat through sweating. You don't lose most of your body fat through peeing or pooping. You lose most of your body fat through breathing.
Yep.
That's true.
Respiration.
That's true.
It's crazy.
You're breathing out. What are you breathing out though?
I don't know if that the inverse works, that you can then breathe in most of your nutrition. I don't know, just because it works one way, I don't know if it works the other way.
It does not work the other way. Do you know
Oh
why
shit!
though?
I misinterpreted.
No, it can't because words to your mouth is no.
I think Marilyn's the Antichrist. She's trying to poison us against God's chosen people, and every time she gives a prescription,
she's trying to get everyone to stop eating.
Yeah, well, in this
She wants
instance,
world
she just said
hunger.
animals are equal to gods.
She wants world hunger.
Afraid of not eating.
Animals are equal to God to you, Marilyn?
What you are. You don't have to eat 3 meals.
We're getting
Well, you
psyop,
don't have to
dude.
eat, you don't have to eat 3 meals a day. That's
Crazy.
true. You don't.
survive better fasting. Our body, it works
Yeah,
better.
fasting, but not like not eating at all, right?
Yeah. Marilyn, what's the longest period of time you've gone without eating?
21 days.
God, that
Okay.
sounds horrible.
And
That does sound-
There's no way. I
That sounds
thought you can survive 2 weeks without
Kind of the
eating.
math. No,
She was
that's
doing a
not-
nonsense
nonsense
water.
ritual cancer enactment to debunk it.
Depending on how much body fat you have and how many.
The rule is like 3 minutes without air, 3 weeks or 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food is like the minimum that you will die. But you can go much longer than that as well. Like some people can go like people have gone like months without eating,
Oh, yeah,
but it
you
gets dangerous, obviously.
But I
And what about deep divers?
Maybe that explains why Marilyn is so. Wait, hold on. How do I go ahead?
Oh
In the
God, it's
head.
Kurt.
So loopy in the head.
I'm not though. You guys are.
Maryland's about as normal as you are, Kirk.
I'm normal,
say, glass
Tyler.
houses, Kirk. Glass
I'm
houses.
normal as fuck.
Headshots.
You're cowards.
You can't even
Maryland
engage
is
in other
God.
people's
Don't
conversation.
you know that, Kurt? Maryland is God. Has decided to join us on
Yeah,
planet.
yeah. Answer my question. I'm
Is it
curious about
moral pride to think we're outside or above the food chain? I don't think so. I think it, like, for me, I think it would stem from, like, if we're supposed to shepherd the earth, what does that mean? And again, I really want to, I think my main thing is, like, based on, like, what World said about we can do this on the backs of, like, what other people have done. And what Testy said, that it's only in the past, short period of time that we can actually do this. But I would argue that there is, in my, just like my example with, like, caring for this super disabled people at a certain point in history or in certain countries to this day, that is probably literally impossible. If you have certain conditions and you're a poor country, you're not going to be able to. It's just an uncomfortable fact. What are you supposed to do? You don't have the resources. You don't have the technology. But now that we have these things, maybe we do have to ask more moral questions and, like, decide. And maybe morality does evolve in that way.
I have a question. Is it morally insufficient to let omnivores and carnivores exist? Should we be trying to either force or genetically
all carnivores?
No, we need to genetically modify or force all carnivores off of meat and breed it out of them. Otherwise, are we morally lacking as the shepherds?
True.
In principle, I think that's probably good. Yeah, unironically.
What about lab-grown meat?
Hold on. How are you going to stop the? Are you going to stop like population explosions? Then?
Would you eat lab?
Well, these are all like practical concerns. I mean, obviously, if it's going to have extreme detrimental effects down the road or something, to where, like, well, we're trying to save like 500 animals by genetically modifying this carnivore, and it ends up killing like 1 billion animals. Obviously, then we shouldn't do that.
It's similar, I think, like if you could hit a button, Alex, if you could hit a button, you know how, like, I think we've talked about dolphins, how they, like, do a bunch of untoward stuff. If you could hit a button, it would have no detrimental, like, outside cost to it, and it would just stop dolphins from being so freaking gay and, like, doing all their, like, gay shit and hurting other beings, and it had no outside effects. Would you hit that button? I'd hit that button. Like, why not? Like, if there was, if there's
God.
We do that all the time, though. I mean,
design. Well, I mean, true, we do it all the time, but does that make it
Daniel
good?
is altering God's design. I don't think that's wrong that we have different breeds of animals and stuff like that.
Is it unethical to hunt if something's overpopulated and causing damage to the ecosystem?
Right. I think we quote unquote. I think playing God is like an overrated thing. When we vaccines, that's playing God. With, like, modern medicine, that's playing God. With controlling population sizes, as Tyler said, that's playing God. Like, in all these areas, but we are meant to do that. We're meant to steward the earth. So it's like, now the bad thing is when we go too hard and we do
mass slaughter
outside consequences.
We can mass slaughter them because we want to cut down on the population size, but we can't eat them for our sustenance.
Here's the problem: we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Oh no, we can eat them.
We walk in and we call the population of wolves in an area, and the deer population explodes, eats a bunch of shit, erodes the river bank, and then they all die. Like, this isn't.
You're a communist, I would say. You're an environmental communist, Confluence. I want the free market to succeed in nature, and you want to try to planned ecology.
Planned ecology. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of
another question for you, Confluence.
Stalin tried that, right? You're basically
what time
Stalin.
this Thursday is the debate happening between Tyler and I?
Yeah, how do you think you're going to do in your debate with Tyler?
Well, I don't know, but what time is it going to start?
Whenever he fucking
It's gonna be like Brandon eating
don't be so eager.
unsentient plant.
Tyler, I think
I'm not gonna load my fist up. I'm not gonna load my fist up. It's gonna hurt.
I'm being serious. What time is the debate?
I'm free as early as 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Tyler, 2 bits.
So anytime, if that's too early, I can do anytime. Thursday's my late night, so I can start whenever, but I can't start earlier than.
I should be fine by then.
Yeah, I think I'll be fine by 8 too, but I'll let you know the day before.
Read my question in chat, Compliments. I know what you think about that.
I just wanted to talk about Jews. I'm out of here.
Very well, you know what? I stand corrected. It turns out.
I don't know.
Sevens, Maryland. Is it immoral to genetically alter animals to not be sentient so we can eat them?
That's lab grown meat.
Yeah. Well, no.
We could.
Well, no,
if we could
still
make.
be
Let's say we made
biologically.
let's say we could make cows, a species of cows
like a
that didn't
full cow.
feel. Yeah, let's say we could make it so the cow didn't feel any pain and it didn't feel fear. It would just be like a cow. It would be like a philosophical zombie cow, basically. Is that? That's a really good question. I guess that would be fine then, right?
Well, I guess I flipped it on the dolphin equation because if like you find it morally okay to, I guess, alter the evolution of dolphins and dogs and other stuff that we do, would it then be okay to then do the same thing and then eat them?
Maybe in some context, I'd probably be okay with that. Because I'm also like trying to take into consideration if this was a vegan world and obviously these animals are reproducing. There probably is, if it's a vegan world, there would probably be a net benefit from them living. But if we had like, I don't know, like we did that every once in a while, that might be okay. I would look at it kind of like lab grown.
What about just one species of cow though? So it's like there's still cows. They're not doing it to all the animals. It's just the cows we want to eat. We breed a type of cow that just has no sense of pain, no sense of fear.
We kind of already do
Well, right
that.
there, when you say breed, are we doing like what we typically do, where we're like sticking fists up cows' asses and stuff? Because that's going to be untoward. That part.
But is it that will? But isn't that like from a consequentialist point of view? If you think of all the cows that people eat, all the cow suffering, then let's say we have to do a little science nonsense, a little like Anthony Fauci Beagle stuff.
Astronomically high for me to be okay with something like that.
The consequences would be how many cows on Earth die every day for meat. The consequences would be all those cows are just like feeling nothing but endless joy. You know,
I mean,
they're just in like they're in their bovine pleasure domes, and they don't feel any pain at all.
They're hooked up to the experience machine.
If you can,
exactly.
If you can take morality for people and apply it to animals, then if you say that we can just make like pleasure cows that enjoy ultimate pleasure until we kill them for their meat, then we can just do the same thing with people, right?
Well, no, I wouldn't say. No, because I would never say. This whole time, I would never say that like humans are the same as animals. I think we should just also offer some moral considerations to animals, not in the same way. I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be one of those gay vegans that's like you can't have a dog because that's like owning a slave or something.
Hold on, what's the limiting principle here?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
no, like to the extent of like,
I think what you're talking about there is like that's atrocious. That's like
pleasure cow
shit.
Yeah, I revert to that question by Testy. Can we have sex with the cow? That cow
you
you're talking
can't have
about.
sex with the cow.
Even if it's like God, not Brandon, but everyone else.
Not that kind of
We
pleasure
can have
cow.
sex with a chicken. Why can't we have sex with a cow? That's just
You shouldn't have sex with either of them if you think about it. You can.
Hold on.
There's between a can and an ought. You know, you can. You ought not.
Oh, hold on. Building civilization harms, damages, displaces tons of animals. Farming kills tons of animals. Why are all these things allowed if we can live without them? If we can lower our quality of life and just eat fucking bugs and slop, why not just eat bugs and slop?
True.
Because that's
Bugs
disgusting.
don't have sentience.
Yeah, there's no limiting principle. It's just kind of like, I feel this way is good, so let's do this.
Well, because they're too small,
Well-
their brains are not big enough to have sentience.
says you.
I mean, my sort of thought process. My sort of thought process is the animals that are dying in like agriculture, like the what did the people in chat say, like voles and varmints and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like if we were to trade equalize those with humans, maybe like their psychology or something, and they're like little humans just doing what fucking vermins do in agriculture, and like we're killing those so we can have the sort of food we have now, I think I'd probably be okay with that.
Well,
No, how is
That motherfucker.
Houses, data centers, the internet, all the shit we have, society, roads, all this. You have to displace or kill animals to do these things. All of that needs to go. That's like because animals will suffer. That to me is just the craziest, most
that's not my view.
dumb shit. Yeah,
I don't think anyone.
Just logical.
You would have to think that humans are like have equal moral value to animals to think that though.
That's what you're saying though with their death, their
Hold on, I
suffering.
can't hear you out.
I'm not saying that.
Can I ask Brandon a question?
Yeah.
So if we could like release a toxin that makes all the animals no longer like fertile, because we're all vegans now, we don't need to eat animals. Is there any reason why we shouldn't do that? Just let them all die out?
Yeah, I think they can like have positive experiences. So that, I mean, I take that into consideration.
The ones that are still living will continue to have positive experiences. They just won't be any new ones. Is my point.
Well, I'm not an antinatalist, so I think like reproducing humans is good, and it's probably the same thing for animals.
So they have an inherent value to you?
I wouldn't say inherent value, but I do think when you reproduce, you're probably producing more positive utility than negative utility. This is just one of the considerations, but generally speaking, yeah, that I probably wouldn't do something like that.
What
I would
utility
not.
does a cow have if you can't eat it?
Well, not utility as in like I'm making use of it, but I do think those positive experiences, I care about those, even if I'm not getting a positive experience. Well, I guess I am getting a positive experience from them getting a positive experience.
Okay.
Well,
I care about that.
My goldfish has positive experience. Do you want to eat my goldfish?
Fuck no, dude. I would never eat your goldfish.
He'll sometimes go in his house and he'll like swim in his house.
So another question. The implication that what I was trying to get to is you saying that's not your thoughts right now, but I'm going full slippery slope here and saying once we get to the point where we can have reasonable alternatives for all the things you're saying, why would your opinion not evolve to we shouldn't displace these animals? We shouldn't be making a mini mall in that marsh. We should protest it instead because of the animals and things like that. Why limit just to food?
Maybe I'm not understanding your question. Can you try to rephrase what you're asking?
You're talking about animal suffering because we don't necessarily need to eat meat. We don't necessarily need to have a civilization with roads and such.
Need is one part of it. I do think that there are things that I want, like cell phones, computers, all that stuff. Animals die, humans die making that shit. But I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm trying to figure out your limiting principle. What is your binding?
Well, that's your issue. I'm not a generalist. I don't have
so
principles.
You just go and fly by the seat of your pants on it, and that is just basically off of. I don't think that it's cool to eat meat, so stop. But I think it's cool to like kill off this species so that we can have a mall because I like that stuff.
Well, I think generally speaking, like principles, they. At least when I talk to people that have principles, it typically leads to like insane conclusions. I can still give reasons for why I have like a given moral view in a given context, but it's going to be highly context dependent.
That's some pretty hardline principles. I agree. Once you get to the point where there's no practical compromise, you start to get a little insane. But I'm just wondering what like the principle structure is for this. You're just telling me opinion.
Well, no, I can give you like a general sense of things I generally care about. I generally care about well-being, suffering. I generally care about things that can just have experiences. What else do I care about? I don't like using rights language, but I do care about like rights violations in a sense. So those are things like I'm taking into consideration. I also take into consideration confluence build. The sort of intentions or virtues and vices of a person whenever they take like a moral action. I do take that stuff into consideration as well. And then you just weigh all of those things and I come to a judgment.
Yeah. But he was asking about the roads, like in England, I don't know if they're doing it in America, but they're considering something called 15-minute cities. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Where everything is within a 15-minute radius.
Yeah, that's WEF nonsense.
Yeah, it sounds good. It sounds good in theory,
good,
but when you actually listen to it, it is actually WEF nonsense. I completely agree with Kirk. When you actually read, I read the whole proposition for this shit. It gets fucking insane. The stuff they propose. It gets mentally ill.
Can you give me the worst thing about it?
So in the WEF plan to do this, it says that you will be limited on your vacation. So if you want to leave, you can like take like one airplane every like 3 years. I may be off on the exact numbers. And if you want to travel outside that city, then you'll have to like pay a toll. If you want to travel more, you have to pay more of a toll. They talk about you can only buy 3 articles of clothing a year would be the optimal thing. They're talking about limiting like consumption on everything. The way they sell it in like a quick news article is just like hey, what, don't you want a walkable city? Aren't you sick of food deserts? Don't you want to just be able to not have to commute an hour? That sounds all good. That sounds like, when I heard this initially presented, I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Don't threaten me with a good time to live in like a close community. When you actually hear their specific policy proposals and what they want to get to, it's fucking insane.
Yeah.
And the document's online. It's like, I don't know if I can find it right now, but it's not hard to find. It's like 100 pages long, and it's like very easy to manage. And the stuff they say in it is just crazy. And I don't know how they don't think this would just benefit the uber wealthy. Because if you want to buy, their whole proposition is that they'll just tax you a ton if you're trying to like fly more than like once every 3 years. But it's like, obviously, if you're rich, you can just pay that and then just fly more. And then so just like, but if you're broke, you're just gonna be stuck in the city. And if you leave, you're gonna be financially punished for it. I don't want to get into that whole thing.
That's kind of how it is anyway. Because if you're poor, you're not going anywhere. Right,
but to make I don't want that's one thing to have like prices naturally happen where this is how much an airline ticket's going to cost. But if I thought the government was like monitoring me and they're like, Confluence, if you fly more than like once every 3 years, now you have to pay like double for your airline ticket. Or we're watching the number of clothing things you're buying, and if you buy more, then you might have to pay more. Like that's where it gets crazy, you know.
Yeah, so I actually did. Since we moved from the veganism conversation a bit, I actually did have a question, Confluence.
We're still on it. We're still
on the veganism, and also this was a natural branch off. Okay, so your thing is not going to be a natural branch off.
Can I just ask my question, please?
No, because it's going to be completely unrelated. No. End of night, maybe.
For future reference, don't ask to ask the question. Just spit it out as quick as you can.
It's even worse. Well, actually, no, this is worse. It's all worse. I don't know. It's all terrible. It's all cancer.
Give him tips.
Brandon, would you be okay eating fetuses?
Oh, absolutely.
I was thinking that earlier.
I knew it.
Wait. Fried or boiled?
I guess what would be the line for not eating human fetuses?
Name the trait, Brandon.
I mean, it probably has something to do with the intentions of the person, but I mean, if you abort like a fucking 3-week-old embryo or something, and somebody picks it up and puts it in their mouth really quick and eats it, I probably wouldn't care. I don't know.
Now, what if I do that with a cow? What if I just pick a cow up?
A non-sentient fetus cow? Yeah, dude, all day.
No, okay, what about a living cow? What if I just pick a living cow up and just eat it right quick?
It's just like a really tiny cow, but it can feel pain and shit.
Just a burger.
Yeah, that's probably okay.
So you're like a type of hyper-vealism, as I'm going to call it. Where you'd be fine eating a cow that's young enough. So there's like a area of cow that's bad. But I don't think you actually believe that.
It's ageist.
If we actually started harvesting cow embryos and then eating, that was a delicacy. You'd be like, that's fine. Let's do it.
But so
as long as we're not doing anything to like the sentient cows to get that, probably.
Help me understand your theory here. So, would you be, if you were the father of the fetus, would you have to eat that, or would you have to give it to somebody else? Swap fetuses, not to eat your own.
That's a good question. Where do parental rights come in here with this?
Yeah. At what point is this child abuse?
How about we just recognize that God created the fetus with a soul, and we don't do that at all?
No, we gotta eat fetus. No. Fetus is dead.
Well, if it's dead, it doesn't have a soul, and then if it doesn't have a soul,
we don't. How about we not abort it in the first place, since it's not dead in the first place?
I didn't say abort it.
What if it's a miscarriage?
You know, it's already dead.
If it's a miscarriage,
can you eat that?
But even then, it's disgusting. Like, who would want to eat a fetus? That's disgusting.
Well, that's how Brandon feels about cows.
Yeah.
Kirk, you're not going to like this, but people eat afterbirth. Traditionally, for thousands of years.
Yeah, people be eating placentas.
Freud eats afterbirth. You heard it here first.
Is eating ass
is a
vegan?
gross way to put it, dude.
Is eating ass only if you swallow. So
oh, okay.
He fries up placenta chips.
Confluence, please, can I ask my question?
See, why you could have asked. That was perfect. You could have just asked right there.
We're talking about placentas right now.
It's a quick question, Confluence, please.
You're still doing it. Bro, just fucking
you're asking two questions, because you're asking to ask the question, and then you're wanting to ask the question.
If the question isn't, can you KFC fetus? We don't want to know.
Well, it's basically, Confluence, can I just tell you what the question's about?
No,
That's a third question.
Guy doesn't get it.
Bro, just do it. Fucking say
Actually, you know
shut
what?
up.
Confluence, just say yes, and he's already done. He already
No
answered.
Confluence. You said you would ban him. You said you would ban him if he did that again.
The problem is it's not a simple question. It's gonna be him trying to tell me about what he learned about the fucking Riemann hypothesis or something.
Yes,
by him
that's exactly that.
Oh wow! Oh gee, I'm so amazing. How did I fucking guess that?
So it's basically, have you heard of the Riemann hypothesis?
Don't go back on your word, Confluence.
One question. I don't want multiple questions within your one question.
The one question is this. Do you think that because of the fact that cryptography uses the factorization of large primes, that the Riemann hypothesis, because it's related to the distribution of prime numbers, is relevant to cryptography?
Fuck you, Kirk.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
That relates to veganism.
Hypothesis could be proven true. Yes, it absolutely would be. But
Yeah.
So
I
far,
think that's
no one's
finally a
ever been able to
question that I
prove
can
it.
understand.
Yeah, nobody's been able to prove it, so it still doesn't matter. It's
Yeah,
irrelevant.
well,
you go.
I hope
You got your answer.
the Riemann hypothesis is proven in my lifetime because it's relevant to cryptography.
You want.
It took 8
got it
questions
off
to
his
get
chest.
that one question out.
I know that was actually a really quick question. That you, yeah. So there
He
was a
just
lot of
really
preamble
needs
for that.
Kirk, when he has something like he really wants to ask, he just wants to get it out, man. You gotta let him like release, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was
You
just
can just release all over your panel.
Not engage in anyone else's conversations until he's got another
This is why he
question.
says he does. That's why I said I pointed out he does intellectual onanisms on the panel all the time. He's just jerking off intellectually all over us constantly.
Well, not on
Am I
all of us.
retarded? What
Just
is-
on
what's
you.
an
You don't
onanism?
care about our answers.
It's basically just
Our
a
answer's
fancy way to
damn.
say
It's
like
just your
masturbation.
Okay, that's hilarious. Oh, it is masturbation or the withdrawal method of birth control. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm stealing that.
Now we were on such a good vegan thing. We're talking about fetus treatise and eating them and stuff and all this crap, and now now we're lost.
Well, I guess let me
There
keep
is a
going with
technical
it.
video, but I'd
Is
rather
it
fight
okay to
with you
eat-
guys.
Is it okay to eat dead bodies?
Hell yeah.
I guess, Brandon, what would be your not principle, but I guess
With
your
consent.
preference around eating dead bodies?
With consent.
Can dead
Well,
bodies consent?
So you would
No, before they die, if they say, "Listen, you can fuck my body, you can eat my body,"
You
go
can't
for
just
it.
hop on down to the fucking the old
The morgue.
cemetery.
Well, see, you got to marry the dead body before you,
No,
you fuck
probably
it.
not.
You can't just be fucking random dead body.
That's premarital necrophilia. We can't have that.
Crazy.
If your
What
wife
does the Bible say about it?
without consent because it's implied due to marriage.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a question for the Ortho Bros.
You can't withdraw consent after you're dead. So, what if you consent? That is kind of similar. Doesn't consent have to be withdrawn at any moment?
Are you
That's true.
hard?
They
has a
never
new
they never
meaning
said no.
in this scenario.
Technically, does the death not nullify the marriage? Does death do its part?
Well, I'm not talking about the sex thing. I'm talking about the eating. Because Brandon's saying if they pre-consent, then you're allowed to eat them. But I'm saying if consent has to be withdrawn at any time, then it doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if I say, Brandon, you can eat my flesh after I die, because then I'm dead and now I can't stop the consent. So I could be maybe in some ethereal state being, Brandon, stop eating me. I don't like that. And Brandon's just nomming away. Like some
That's
type of
crazy,
actual
Brandon.
animal.
No, hold on.
Sucks to suck, dude.
Yeah, Brandon.
Hope you're not doing that,
Tell me,
Brandon.
Brandon.
I didn't consent to that.
Hold on. What if somebody does something to you before you can actually say no? After you consent. Now we're in a position where
It's lightning speed. That's true.
Yeah.
It's like you're about to say no, but then you just die, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Not even that. Like you give them consent to slap you, and then before you can withdraw that consent, they slap you.
Oh well.
What if you
sucks to suck, dude?
I guess what about you give someone consent for sex?
You withdraw consent.
And you don't have it happens so quickly. What if the momentum of someone's thrust, they can't stop it? And so you're saying no, but the momentum is carrying them toward you. Then is that just an untoward thing for everybody? Probably.
Well, people don't give consent for the worms to eat them when they die.
Yeah, it'd be wrong, but you wouldn't be morally responsible. Ooh, banger.
Oh, that's a good answer. What happens when you don't consent at first and they take 4 bites and then you consent? Was the whole action consented, or was it just after that point?
No, you're dead. They can't
If you consent
consent.
after the fact, then you're good to go.
This is also a good question. What if this happens and you don't notice for like 30 seconds? Then are you guilty of necrophilia in that example?
100%.
But not intentional. Like if morality is about intention,
you fuck them to death.
Do you eat them first, or do you fuck them first?
If you eat too much, you're not going to be able to do. There has to be an order of operations.
But if you're not inside them, then you're eating yourself, and that's got to be immoral.
Oof, God bless, dude.
Could you it's like the worst question, but also the funniest. But also the worst.
God, this
you can't eat your own material. That's got to be immoral, right, Brendan?
That's got to be.
I'm getting lost in all the crazy hypotheticals. I'm not sure. I'm just going to agree with whatever you think at this point, Big Soda.
Okay. I agree veganism is gay and fake. Brendan, agree with that.
Oh, he's got you.
I guess I'm fucking gay and fake. I don't know.
Brandon, what do you think about vegan Gaines? Do you think he's a loser, or do you like him?
I love vegan Gaines. I think he's a hilarious sociopath.
Okay.
Those type of people right there.
I told people in my deadlock game what we were talking about, and that they're going to join to listen.
Well, Tyler would actually love vegan Gaines. He is
that guy's fucking insane.
He's very pro-Israel.
I watched him though before Destiny turned into like a hardcore leftist, and at least pretended to be in the center. And that guy's fucking nuts.
$5. This reminds me of the conversation between Plato and Socrates. Yes, see, isn't
We're better than both of them. Actually,
that like this someone could be looking at this 1,000 years from now, analyzing our perspicacious, philosophical, nuanced critiques. What an amazing world we live in.
Wait, time out. Kirk's and Noah hide. Why is it immoral to not eat people? Or why is it immoral to eat people? Is that one of your 6 principles?
It's not one of the 7 laws of Noah or whatever.
You can't murder people.
But you can eat them if they're dead.
They already
Actually,
died.
I'd have to ask a rabbi about cannibalism, but I still think it's immoral.
But hold on. Are you your body?
Interesting.
Are we our bodies? Because you can replace your arms and legs and.
Can you?
Probably the brain. That's like the most.
Is this like the Theseus ship?
Yeah,
the Theseus' body.
Well, how do I mean it? It's like you can replace limbs, right?
No, I'm not right. No, I don't think that's correct.
Yeah, that's where we're having the
Okay, you can replace lungs and hearts. Let's go with that direction. You can replace organs.
Thank you. You can replace organs, right? So are you the organs?
Well,
if we had the medical science to be able to be capable of replacing limbs, we can replace limbs, so we are not those limbs, are we? We are not our organs.
Well, you can also have like a stroke and lose a part of your brain and still not be a completely different person.
Are you Mr. Potato Head? Are you Mr. Potato Head in real life? Is that why you can take your arms and legs out, bro? You can lose like parts of your brain without changing completely. So, in theory. So are you really your whole brain, or just?
Yeah, you are your mind. That's what my point was. Yeah.
I think you are your consciousness, is what I would say.
Yeah, which is housed in a meat body, right?
Well, it's housed in the mind, which is housed by a meat body. Yeah.
I think you are your brain and your C fibers.
Well, if you're an identity physicalist, that is the most retarded.
I'm not an identity theorist, but what's the issue with identity theory?
Well, that's retarded.
Oh, get him, Brandon. Get him.
Okay.
We're just moving topic to topic.
Well, so basically, when you're talking about the reduction of the mental to the physical, if you're saying that you are just your physical body, how do you account for the fact that you can't describe qualia from a third-person physical perspective?
I don't think anybody said that.
Hang on, Food Toy.
Brandon's
about to cook. I know
can't you describe it?
For example, like you can't describe what blueness is from a third-person perspective.
From a third-person
Mary's Room, ever heard of it, Brandon?
Yeah, but I'm not seeing why can't a identity theorist say that that's red, but they just mean something different by red?
Because what red means is by definition the subjective experience.
Well, that's just to beg the question against the identity theorist, no?
That's just what the word. That's like that's the origin of how you get the denotation.
So if a identity theorist says, I see red, and what they mean by red is like the light frequency or whatever, what's the issue with that?
Because you don't see light frequency, you see redness.
Right. So you are begging the question against the identity theorist. They're saying they would just say, "Yeah, that's what I'm calling redness."
What they mean is they're like super mad.
But Brandon, wait, maybe I'm confused too.
Or they have a red out.
But aren't they, in both cases, aren't they still, they actually don't mean the light frequency. They mean they're having an experience that they're calling redness. Like, they still would say that there's qualia, right? Like, that's what the qualia would be, isn't it?
Well, it depends on there's different identity theorists. So are we talking about the experience of red, or are we talking about redness external to our experience?
I thought the former, but this was originally Kirk's thing. But
I thought we were talking about the latter. Maybe we're talking past each other.
Well, I'm saying, okay, sorry. When I'm talking about the reason I'm saying you can't be an identity theorist and say that consciousness is identical to brain states is because you don't experience redness outside of the form of redness, and the form of redness is inherently subjective and not quantifiable.
And why can't they just say redness is just certain brain states?
Because it's not quantifiable. You can't quantify qualia by definition.
And when it's not.
This.
Maybe I'm not understanding what you're saying. You can't quantify qualia. So when you say when you can't quantify qualia, is all you're saying is you can't say it's a brain state?
What I'm saying is there. Okay, you can have the experience of red, but you can't quantify what that means if you don't have it. It's like if the color scientist, if she has never had an experience of red, she might know what the light frequencies are that give rise to red for other people, but she can't know what that actually looks like.
Well, if she knows what the light frequencies are, she would have the concept of redness.
But she wouldn't have the qualia of redness, though.
When I'm referring to
what's the difference between what I just said and what you're calling qualia? On the identity theorist view.
Well, I don't know. How would they respond to the Mary's room thing, right? Mary learns everything about the intellectual stuff about red in her black and white room. Then she steps outside and sees a tomato. She has clearly learned something. That something would be the qualia, right? So what if just in the room there's no amount of intellectual stuff that she can have that's going to teach her what that qualia is?
So this is like one of the areas of philosophy I'm like the worst at. So you got to bear with me. So with Mary's room, she learns about all the quote unquote physical facts, right? But she's never quote unquote experienced red, and then she goes outside and she sees red or something.
Yeah. And the question is, did she learn anything? And if the answer, most people would say yes. And if she learned it, what did she learn? People would call that there's something qualia related to what she learned that she couldn't have learned through an infinite amount of time intellectually learning about it.
Well, couldn't the identity theorists, they could take one of two things. They could say, no, she didn't learn anything new because she learned about the physical facts and that's all you would need to have the concept of redness. Or they could say something like, I lost it. That when she does see red when she gets out, she does learn something, but she's just identifying different physical states. She didn't know everything.
Yeah, that would be my steel man, is to just say that when she goes outside, she's experiencing a new brain state. And when she's in the room with the TV, she's not experiencing all the brain states. There's some stuff that's going to be ineffable that you can't share, but then it will still be a brain state, just one that has to be perceived visually to actually be felt as a new brain state and experienced as such.
What if she went out the room and went, what the hell is that? Because she wouldn't know what red looks like, so she wouldn't know that's red.
Because, I have...
Right?
I don't know if he's still I don't know if he's still an identity theorist about the mind, but I have a buddy who's like like that's his like main subject, and he's an identity theorist. So when Kirk called it retarded, I'm just thinking that guy's not retarded. So that's why I immediately gave like some pushback, because I don't necessarily see an issue with it, at least how I've heard it described. But it sounds like some people, they have like this intuition that they want to separate the mental from the physical. But then you're just adding ontological commitments to your theory, which makes it more unlikely by definition.
Well, no. So Occam's, first of all, Occam's razor is not a universal heuristic, and second of all,
did I say that?
Yes, you're saying that is adding more commitments make your theory more unlikely by definition, which is by definition you're appealing to Occam's razor. But in any event, when you're talking about what?
No, I said that part was right.
Yeah, and I'm saying that Occam's razor is not a heuristic in this case, because in this case, it's not an extra assumption to say that there's a non-physical qualia, because I think that's like kind of self-evident, because if qualia were truly physical, then you could give a mathematical quantifiable explanation for phenomena such that you don't need, that you can learn about it without experience, you can learn about it just intellectually.
I didn't follow any of that. Can you try to say that again?
So if
say like a human being real quick. Act like a human being.
I am a human being, and basically the way you know that qualia are not physical is because if they were physical, you could give a third person description of them.
And what do you mean by third person description?
As in like a mathematical formula, for example.
What's the argument for that? Why would an identity theorist have to accept that?
Because if you're saying that physical by definition is that which can be mathematically quantified over, right? Can we accept that?
I don't think a physicalist would accept that. Why would they have to accept that?
Because what do you mean by that? Like when you say the mathematical, like what do you mean by that?
Okay. I can give you a third person description of something, right? I can tell you this is tall. I can give you a linguistic representation for everything. But if you don't actually experience it, you'll never have the quality of it. So if I tell you this is tall and this is brown and this is this and this, but you're blind, so you don't know what tall and brown and sideways and etc. mean from a first person perspective, you might have the linguistic concept, but you're not going to actually have the quality of it. That's what I'm saying.
I see. I know what Kirk is saying, but I don't know.
Try to translate.
I think he's saying that like there's that, but I think he's wrong about what you would have to think of as if you're an identity theorist. But I think he's saying there's a difference between experiencing something and stuff that can be formalized. Like to say that the moon revolves around the earth, you could just write that down, you could formalize that, you could intellectualize that. That's a fact that you could learn without having to actually have the quality of experiencing it. But there's other things like seeing the color red, or knowing what it's like to experience someone being taller than you, or all this, or knowing what sideways is in relation to yourself. There's like certain things that maybe there's an experiential component. I think the identity theorists would probably just say that like that's fine, and kind of say what I said earlier, although I'm not sure, is that when you go out and you see red, you're just experiencing a different brain state. It's still a brain state, but it's just not the same. I think the question I would ask Kirk is, why does everything have to be intellectualized for it to like somehow not contradict being I guess super reductionistic about brain states and minds and stuff? Like, why couldn't it just be the case that when you see something that's producing a phenomenologically distinct brain state that is separate from learning about that thing? Like that, like someone could just say that, and then that doesn't really get out of like the physicalist problem.
Well, because basically, if it is the case that something is physical, you should be able to formulate it in such a way that you can quantify over it, either linguistically or mathematically.
Why though? I guess like why would they have to grant that? Couldn't they just say that's not the case?
Okay, what name an example of a physical phenomena that cannot be quantified over mathematically?
Experiences.
But that's not physical.
I mean, that's just a burden shift, though, to be fair.
But experience is not physical. You're not even a physicalist, Confluence.
I'm not. I think it's fake and gay, but I'm saying, isn't that what they would just say when they just say that, like, whatever you're experiencing, that's the unique property of that brain state, and so learning about red is a different brain state than experiencing red. So of course, the experience thing, yeah, it's going to be something that you can't like write down on a piece of paper.
Okay, I mean, fair. So are you just saying that basically it could be the case that you learn something new, but it's because you learn it through a different neuronal state?
Yeah, it could all be physically stuff. We don't need like some fancy like spiritual stuff for this, but it could just be that the brain is a unique organism that's the only machine that we can run seeing the color red on, and that so you can't write it down on a piece of paper. You can't just simulate it because the brain has matter arranged in such a way that allows that type of knowledge to be like known.
Yeah. Well, what about like non-physical forms of causation, like agent causal free will, for example?
I don't know what the fuck that means, like, brother.
Yeah,
agent causal free will is basically when an agent can initiate volitionally how they react to their thoughts.
Yeah, those kind of views, they seem like gibberish to me. I don't even know what they're talking about.
Okay, so I'm not retarded.
Like a government agent?
So, like, for example, confluence, you can't control what thoughts pop up in your head, but you can control your stream of consciousness.
I think you can control both to varying extents.
No, because, for example, name a random city.
Amsterdam.
Okay, you didn't control that Amsterdam popped up in your mind. That was random, but you can control to continue thinking about it or not.
Yeah, but I guess I would like empirically disagree on this because there's like meditation practices where you're like train yourself to bypass those things. At least from a totality of like other people's experiences, this seems to be true that I don't think you're morally culpable for a random thought popping up in your mind. That's one thing, but you absolutely, even from a psychological lens, you could. That's how advertising works. If I asked you to name a type of toothpaste and you say Colgate, you can control that. Just it might be through like some type of like Pavlovian or operant conditioning, but like there is ways you can control the random thoughts that pop up in your head, right?
Can you just randomly forget things though, Kirk? If I told you right now, forget exactly what we're talking about and move on, could you?
No.
Okay, well.
Well, I can't. So I can't. Like I said, I can't control what comes up in my head, but I can control whether to focus on it or not. I can focus. Like, for example, earlier we were talking about veganism, but I decided to focus on math because it's more interesting.
I think I agree in the moment you can't control what comes up in your head, but I think overall you definitely can. Like if you're like Coomer brained and you're like thinking about sex all the time, then you're gonna have random sex thoughts. But if you like, let's say you try to like not think of that stuff, then I think you will end up thinking of those things less. I think Destiny probably thinks Coomer thoughts more than Tyler does, and I don't think it's just outside of either of their control. I think Destiny probably puts himself in situations where he's more likely to have these random thoughts. So I agree in the moment when you ask somebody this question, they can't exactly control that. But overall, I don't think I agree.
I mean, that's fair. But as long as we agree that in the moment, as long as we agreement in the moment, you can't control what pops up in your thought, but overall, you can still control your stream of consciousness. I would agree. But my point, just to wrap up on this, is to tie this into the conversation about physicalism. Is that if we have free will, and I think free will is self-evident, then physicalism can't be true because free will means that there's forms of causality that are not physical.
What do you mean by free will?
Free will is the ability to focus your stream of consciousness.
What do you mean by consciousness?
Free will is the ability to focus on what you intend towards.
Kirk, can I ask a question?
That sounds compatible with
rainbow trout and brown trout have the same breeding patterns?
Do what trout have the same breeding patterns?
Rainbow trout and brown trout.
No clue.
Yeah. Do you get my point?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think anybody got your point, Fruitoy.
I got Fruitoy's point.
That's what he does.
Explain it to me.
I'm lost. That has nothing to do with the topic.
Okay.
No, but this is related to physicalism because if free will exists, then this means that that you can't be a physicalist. I mean, do you disagree, Confluence?
No, I actually agree with you. I think, and now getting to free will maybe is kind of just like you said. I think maybe the best is just to say it's self-evident that we can make these decisions. Philosophically, yeah, I don't know if I could fight against like some cuck loser like Sam Harris or something, you know. Like, but I think just I think it's totally valid to just be like, you're crazy if you don't think we have free will. You're the first starter for all of us is our human experience. I think it is just self-evident that we can make free volitional acts. And then from that, I would say, then I don't. That's one of the main reasons I disagree with physicalism, is because I think you'd have to. Those things are connected in my mind. I don't think you can truly have free will if we're just talking pure physicalism. At least I don't see a way to get out of everything just being causally determined. And then so your consciousness is illusory, your volition is illusory. Like, to me, I would just go full kind of like nihilist on that way, and just think that all of the stuff that we have, that we think is free, that we think this experience that we're having, it's all just an illusion, and there's no I thinking these thoughts, there's no actual stream of consciousness in any real ontological sense, and it's just all it's kind of all just smoke and mirrors.
Kind of what I was arguing is that physicalism, the argument I would get providing as physicalism is free will, and I consider free will to basically be self-evident in our phenomenology.
Well, the free will thing is I like when some people talk about free will, I don't even know what they're talking about. And the question I usually ask is something like, if an agent has two choices, A or B, and they choose A, what explains why they chose A over B?
Because they decided to reflect on their value. Because they decided to reflect on their values, and they value A over B.
So what explains why the agent chose A over B is because the agent chose A over B?
No, it's that they reflected on their values.
They reflected on their values?
And their values happen
that's
to be
consistent with determinism.
See, Brandon, I would say it's fine just saying that it is just like almost like tautological. Like I don't see a problem with that. Like, because I think Kirk is making it too complex, because it's like I think you're adding extra steps to what you're ultimately just describing as a free act. There's some acts that we do, and we might reflect, we might do this, but ultimately it's still, do you get to a volitional point or do you not? Otherwise, it's kind of mechanistic, or there's an act. I always just think about like, if I want to choose to raise my left hand or my right hand, it's like it could be a coin toss. It's something in my mind, but at the end of the day, I'm able to like raise one hand, and that feels like a free act, as free as possible. And so to me, it feels like a big onus on the other person to say that, like, even though I feel like this is a volitional act, that this was somehow like causally determined by brain states, I think just goes against everything we know of like what our experiences are. It's different with other stuff. Like, why did you make this moral decision? Yeah, there's like a bunch of stuff going on in the background. But when you actually just sit there and decide to do like a single specific act that really has no moral consequence, then I don't know how that doesn't feel free. Like, I don't know how people like Sam Harris would just think that they're actually causally determined to like raise their right hand over their left hand when they're like in that threshold moment of like making a nonsense choice like that.
And here's the thing, Confluence. I'm not even just saying it in the context of morally insignificant decisions. I'm saying even for morally significant decisions, the fact that you decide to follow your better conscience and not follow your gut instincts, your id, so to speak, is because of the fact that you have this basically agent free will.
I agree. I just think it complicates things, because then you could always say, well, you're just choosing according to your greatest desire, and your greatest desire is like all this stuff has been baked into you, your biology and all of your experiences, and everything's led up to this. I think that's harder when it comes to like a trivial act. When it comes to a moral act, I think then it's more easy for like people to kind of squirm out of it, if like the Sam Harris types. But when it comes to something that truly doesn't seem to matter, but you're still choosing like left or right for like no reason at all, then it seems weird to like think like, really, does Sam Harris actually think that he can't choose to raise his left hand or right hand in a completely free act? There's always going to be some like predecessor that like led to that, some causal chain of events for his brain, some leptons span one way instead of the other, and that like is making him raise his left hand. Like, to me, that just seems like nonsensical.
Well, this may sound like nonsense, but what if there's a layer of subconscious that decides every free action that you do before you decide it? And if that subconscious makes that decision before you make that decision, is that you making the decision?
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I would still say it is.
Because I know there's been certain philosophers I can't name off the top of my head that talk about subconscious agents and them making choices that don't originate with yourself.
Like your upbringing.
No, not even that. None of that. I'm just saying, like, it's a decision, or it's a subconscious decision you can't control, and it makes the choice. It makes the original thought before you even decide, and then in your conscious mind, you then make that decision.
Like even in my left and right hand thing, right? I guess you're saying that would even apply to that. In that volitional act, maybe a few milliseconds before, my subconscious has already decided that I'm going to raise my left hand, and then my consciousness catches up, and then I raise my that hand. Yeah.
And it all appears to be one conscious act because you don't have that connection to your subconscious. And since you don't have that connection to your subconscious, you think this is a choice in yourself, but your subconscious already made that choice for you. And then we get into the argument, is the subconscious and the conscious the same entity?
I would say, I think they're all, like, from my opinion, I don't know how much I can justify it, but I think the subconscious is, maybe a more truer part of ourselves than the.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that
part.
She got a grip. Bringing does have like something to do with it. For example, my sister is terrified of bees. Every time she sees bees, she screams her head off crazily, and her kid grew up watching her do that, and her kid now screams like she does every time she sees a bee, even though a bee has never stung her. Never.
Conditioning.
Keelan, what I don't like about this question is I think that it's almost, I think we've gotten like baked it in that like physicalism is somehow the default. And like, I would say like, maybe you could argue it's a faith-based claim if I'm like just talking about, free will and what seems to be the case. But again, I think our starting point is our conscious experience. So we always have to start there. But I think I don't see one side as being more obvious or self-evident. If anything, I think it's self-evident that there's that something called the mind exists, and that seems different than the physicalist or physicalism or the physical world. I mean, but like, I don't know if either of those get like granted primacy as the default. Like, I reject the premise that physicalism is like, we all should accept that that's the case. And then it's up to someone who's a non-physicalist to prove otherwise. Like, we're loading in so many assumptions to think that like, oh, it's just the physical world that we have. Like, that's because of our, I think, enlightenment aged thinking that we are like so committed to that being like the primal consideration. And then everyone else has to justify on top of that.
And I've said this before, I'm skeptical a lot of these distinctions between like physicalism and idealism, because you can be like an identity theorist if you're an idealist, but instead of mental states being identical to brain states, it'd be brain states that are identical to mental states. But what the fuck are we talking about now, right? What line are we trying to draw? I don't even know. Like I said, I'm just suspicious of that sort of distinction that people want to make.
It's a language, ain't it?
I mean, just
that's what it seems like.
In, I see we do accept physicalism with very little pushback, like overall in society, and I think we should explore these other areas. But I also have never heard an argument against physicalism other than it hasn't proven everything, so we shouldn't necessarily trust it.
Well, the thing is, physicalism is an ontological claim that everything is physical, and if you can provide evidence that something's non-physical, like mind, because of free will, then by definition, physicalism is false because physicalism is a universal theory. Like that's just
you can't prove that something is non-physical.
Yes, free will proves something's not physical.
If you can prove something is non-physical, then you might have just won like $1 trillion, to be honest.
But Kirk obviously doesn't mean prove in like a scientific sense. Like, Keelan, to be clear, it's not like I'm talking about like, oh, the existence of like prana or some type of like ethereal substance or something like that. Like, I don't think that's the distinction that like a substance dualist is going to be making, right? And so I don't know if we can really prove either of them. Like, I think you could even start with what Brandon was talking about with idealism and say that that's the default. And I've never heard someone convince me that idealism isn't correct. These are like grounding like metaphysical structures. Like in all these cases, I don't know if there's really, we can make compelling cases that maybe sound more intuitive, but I don't know if you can actually prove, right, that everything just isn't made of ideals and mental states and the physical comes after. Like, I think it's a priori that we would accept one over the other.
Because I guess to push back on physicalism, couldn't we just say this is all just a figment of Big Soda's imagination? And then it's like, how do you prove past that?
I already accept that, so.
We all live in the mind of Big Soda. But yeah, it's like, there's it's like, I could say I've never heard a convincing argument against solipsism. And yeah, it's just degrees of like what feels more compelling to me. But yeah, there's no way to prove that solipsism isn't true. That it's like just that I exist.
I'm saying this because I'm genuinely interested. But physicalism, one of the attractive features of it is that it is something that you can, at least within this reality we live in, prove that it is true eventually, is the argument. Eventually you can prove it's true. These other things, we don't have the tools to necessarily prove that they're true, unless we bring in a bunch of assumptions.
You could never prove physicalism is true because it contradicts the experience of free will. I'm saying
you just misunderstood what I said.
No, I didn't. You're saying that
I said in this reality, Kirk. Like, if you believe there's something beyond this reality, I'm saying like we can in this reality prove that physicalism explains everything by explaining everything with physicalism. These other things we don't have the know-how yet. I'm open to the possibility that in the future that we have the know-how, but we don't currently have the know-how, which is like the equipment.
No, but you can't explain everything in this reality with physicalism ever, because
you can't prove that. I'll just say eventually we will. I'll just say eventually we will.
What evidence do you have that free will can be reduced to physics? What evidence?
I don't think we have free will. That's what I'm just saying to you.
What evidence do you have that we don't have free will?
I don't think we have the tools to prove that we don't have free will yet.
No, we could never, because it contradicts our experience.
No, you can't prove that.
Yes. Okay, I'm lifting my hand.
We can never do this.
Yes, I'm lifting my hand. You could never prove that I'm not lifting my hand.
That's not related to this whatsoever.
Yes, it is.
You're saying physicalism can never prove this thing. You can't prove that in the same way that I can't prove that physicalism will eventually prove
No,
everything.
I'm saying physicalism can never prove that I'm lifting my hand using my free will.
That's because free will doesn't exist, is what I would say.
Okay, what evidence do you have that if free will doesn't exist?
As I said before, we don't have the tools yet. Like, we're just repeating ourselves.
No, I have evidence that free will does exist.
No, you don't.
Yes, me lifting my hand is evidence that free will exists.
No, it's
that's
not.
consistent. That's consistent with determinism.
No,
how's that evidence for lifting your hand? You don't think a determinist can't take the view that I'm lifting my hand right now?
They don't think it's a truly volitional action. And I would say it is evidence to me that in all the best of my abilities of experience, which again, everything has to start from this experience, right? We can't be objective creatures. Everything starts from our experience. And it is true that we all have the subjective experience of making a truly volitional act on which hand to lift or not. That is true. To me, it feels like we'd almost have to prove the otherwise, because it seems like the obvious thing, the self-evident thing, is that we can make these volitional acts.
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be true. Maybe it'd be true if we started outside of ourselves and we're some machines or something. But given that all of science and all of everything comes from this experience, I feel like it's fair to look at this experience and say my experience is telling me this thing, unless I'm shown otherwise. Like, well, I feel like the burden, if anything, should be to show that that truly you're not making any volitional act ever. And I think that's like a monster thing to demonstrate.
I feel like the language around
to be wrong.
The language around the whole free will debate is completely fucked, because you're using certain language like, well, you're taking a volitional act and you're deciding to, and you're choosing to, like, all of this, like, to, and you're using your free, even though fucking words free will, it's all very vague to me.
But you know what I mean when I say a volitional act, as opposed to when you're just talking randomly, you're not making a volitional act. Well, I'm saying you're making an act that, at least to your experiential mind, you feel like you are making a decision that is not governed by some preceding thing that you could have made a decision otherwise. That's how I would maybe define it. You could be wrong about that feeling. Maybe I just have the experience that I'm making a volitional act, but I think I'm making an act that I could have chosen otherwise, given my agency.
Could have chosen otherwise. In like a logical sense, you could have?
And what other sense would there be? What do you mean?
Like physical? Because you said could have. That's like logical possibility. Potential. Physical possibility.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I just mean that. Yeah, that me that me as an agent, that I could have decided differently. I could have, and when I raised my left hand before, I could have raised my right hand. At least I have the subjective feeling and experience that that's true. I could be wrong about that.
Sure, but how is that like inconsistent with like a compatibilist? Like
How is that inconsistent?
Yeah, like a compatibilist thinks like that there isn't really a contention between free will and determinism, right? Because they define the words differently. That's the fucking thing. But there isn't like a contention. They say, well, yeah, you could have chosen otherwise if you had different desires.
Right, but yeah, I guess I guess that's the volitional thing. So it's not about the desires, I would say. It's about could. But then okay.
This is where I'm getting lost in the language, because we're saying, well, you could have chosen otherwise to take that volitional act, and then you kind of just did it. You punted back to volition, but then it's like, what are we saying there?
I'm not sure what you mean by punting back, I guess. Like, maybe I'm getting a little lost.
Maybe I'm getting lost too, because
we're getting word cucked.
Oh, well, yeah, I think
all I mean by a volitional act is an act that you are perceiving that you could have done otherwise. That's all I'm meaning by that. Again, you could be wrong, because it's a big claim, I guess, for me to say it's truly volitional. But great side point. Yeah, someone in my back. Do we know this person? Can anyone vouch for Karaoke Queen? Unfortunately, we haven't hit with a lot of P-bombers, unfortunately. So unfortunately, I haven't seen you before, Karaoke Queen, so unless someone can vouch for you, if you stick around chat like in other times, we can definitely bring you up. I know you're doing the hand signs, but there's like a group of people that are doing the hand signs, and then we'll just instantly like change to porn as soon as I let them up, unfortunately.
Is there a way to have her join Discord?
No. I need to figure something out. So unfortunately, I can't let you up unless somebody here already knows you, Kara. I'm sorry. I hate to say that, but
because it's only been men who've P-bombed, right?
Yes. That's it's unlikely that she is, but it's just, it's happened like too frequently recently, and so yeah, we're on high alert, which sucks because it's an open panel. But
if you don't want to, I guess, immediately kick her, I guess you could just full screen yourself.
I did that last time. That's how the guy got me, the French-Canadian guy.
Yeah, that's right.
I had him talking for like 2 minutes, and and I was seeing him and stuff, and then as soon as I put him on, then he fucking shows the fisting shit,
Get her to sing a song.
Well, just get her to join Discord. Get her to join Discord, and she can communicate with us, and we can get a vibe on her and everything, and then if she wants to come back and join, she can come back.
That's true. And if you are interested in the panel, if you're like a chatter that's been around for a while, then we just trust, like even if I was just if someone I haven't seen before, then yeah, it's unfortunately a little just because it's happened a few times, and if it happens too many times, YouTube will take notice, unfortunately. So we are on threat level midnight still. But no offense to you.
I can't get it out of my head. I'm just imagining like a random person coming up, having a casual conversation. Just start playing a fisting video, and then you guys freaking out.
There's been 3 different people. 3 that they'll do the hand signs. They're real people. They're not using virtual accounts, because that's usually how I test, right? Is I get them to like do 2 thumbs up. There's been 3 people that are willing to totally show their face, have like a normal conversation, and then gay anal fisting videos. Boom. It's just like, what kind of people are these? I honestly don't even know.
And the wild thing is like, you could tell the moment he was about to do it, because he starts getting more cheerful, his voice starts to crack, he gets excited, and then bam, he drops it.
Yeah, I gotta be more wary of that, because they do get a little giddy, I've noticed, but it's hard. They're really excited about that fisting video they're about to show.
Another crazy one.
One of them banded. Well, actually, Avery caught it, because Avery's like, guys, Tyler changed his camera to that guy. That's the thing. Your photo's on here forever, because Tyler has the photo, because I screen capped it. So it's like, to have your face associated with that is freaking crazy. But
I'm one of those
people are wild.
Wait, which stream did this occur on?
Are you ready, Confluence?
I deleted it instantly because the other one, Avery told me to kick him. As soon as I kicked him, I saw the anal fisting in the background. I was like, "Thank you, Avery." And then someone did it to me again with the same video. So they're obviously like a group of people that are doing it. And the other guy fucking got me.
Are you ready, Confluence? I'm one of those people. I've just been playing the long game.
You've been playing the long con. Oh, competing with Brandon.
I don't know. I think Brandon got him beat.
There was such good comments. Like I remember Let's Chief was like, "What the heck? My fisting video was all of a sudden interrupted by a Confluence panel when I came back on."
So I want to ask a couple of things I was trying to allude to, but there were too many fucking people talking earlier. So Confluence, I noticed your knee-jerk stances on a couple of things seem to strike a red flag with me. First and foremost, when you started talking about the environment and your views on it, you literally were espousing to a planned environment, like literally ignoring the laws of nature, ignoring the conservative setup of reality, and saying we can improve it more as man. One and two, when you were interpreting, I think
I gave some caveats. I gave some caveats to that.
Well, I know. And when you were interpreting, I think it was the Bible, when you were arguing with Big Soda, your interpretations were more fucking textualist than Ketanji Brown Jackson. And you were saying that is the proper way to interpret the argument. So I just want to say, when you are put in situations that you haven't put through your filter yet, you have a really left-wing skew to what your Pavlovian response tends to be.
I can answer both of those, okay? Because first of all, no, I'm not broaching new ground on the second point. Let's start there, okay? So it's not like I'm taking these passages, at least in this context, and reinterpreting or reimagining them. I've always said that, I've always pointed out, I've given my little spiel, I'll give it quickly, that we see morality evolve throughout the Old Testament, even from like the Torah to like the prophets, the later prophets. You see an evolved stuff. I would even talk about examples like where it says the kids are going to suffer to up to like the 7th generation for the sins of their parents. And then in the prophets, it says no more will it happen that the kids will suffer for the sins of their parents. It seems like we've agreed at some point that this is a bad thing. In the New Testament, of course, we get way better morality. With Jesus, we get way more better morality in the epistles. And so I'm just saying we should just continue that upward. I'm not saying there should be like any conflict, but I'm saying like when I would look at something like slavery, I don't need to find a verse to tell me not to do a certain like untoward act, or I don't need to find a verse to tell me not to kick my dog in the ribs, right? I don't need that. I could just like, I know based on the Bible passages we have about how we're supposed to be shepherds of the earth, I can make specific moral claims with my foundation being that. So I'm not arguing for some type of reinterpretation of those passages. I'm just saying life is complex. We have a lot of new situations to deal with. I'm fine using what I see as the trajectory and following that trajectory outward to see where would it land in the 21st century. I think that's fine. On the first point, the caveat I gave, I said, if we could know, which is a big claim, that we wouldn't cause any like untoward things that we're like not expecting. So yeah, if that's why I gave the example of the dolphin. If we could hit a button and make it so dolphins wouldn't like rape baby belugas and stuff, and there would be no other consequences, yeah, I would hit that button. But of course, we don't necessarily know that, so we have to be careful. I think in certain cases, yeah, it's fine to like do selective breeding and stuff, but I am cautious about that. Like that's why I would be mostly against gain of function research, because we can fuck it up so bad, and now we got another pandemic on our hands, right? So I'm not saying we should just go like balls to the walls and do this, but I think there is instances where yeah, I'm fine like doing these things. I think like a vaccine in general is a contravention of like nature. Antibiotics, there's a lot of stuff where we're trying to have better living through technology, and I think that's fine. I'm mainly quibbling over like, does that count as playing God? You could argue that yeah, making antibiotics is playing God. Doing any type of making tomatoes more ripe and making carrots bigger and stuff is like, even in natural ways without actually like fucking things up, is always playing God, but I don't think that's super bad. If we had gene therapy to like erase cancer, I think that'd be a good thing to do.
So I'm kind of running out of time, so I kind of want to get my context. You're going in a way different direction than what I was talking about. My context at the time was the culling example, where it's okay to go and cull an overpopulated species, but you can't eat them, and you can't let nature actually take its place. I think the reason we got into that, I don't remember why we got into that.
I never said it was okay to do the calling thing, by the way, though. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Oh. Well, yeah, I mean, I would go there, but I gotta go. I got bedtime. So It's been real.
Yeah. Run away,
Right.
Tyler.
Always
Run
enjoy
away.
it, Tyler.
We're running.
Yeah, I'm running. See, I'm such a bitch.
Fuck
Anyways,
you.
Thursday night, come watch Kirk. Where is he? Kirk get fucking.
There's more
slaughtered.
fisting. There's more
Yeah.
fisting on Thursday. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you like the fisting before, you're gonna love what happens on Thursday.
I wonder why Tyler doesn't like me. Like, we agree on most things, I'm pretty sure.
I think he likes you. I think he's just bullying you.
I think
He's
he's
a
jealous.
libertarian. He doesn't
He's
like
jealous.
you. He doesn't agree
I think-
with you on most things.
Yeah, I think that's how he shows love, by talking shit. I do that sometimes. Like, I fucking hate you, Kirk, but I love you.
Yeah, I don't think it's a negative form of bullying that Tyler does to you, Kirk.
It's jealousy, Kirk. It's
I would
obviously
defend Kirk.
jealousy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You defend Kirk?
Yeah, like how you guys robbed him
Of his
of his
question.
trivia night.
When he
you mean
cheated, yeah.
Who did?
I don't believe him. I know he came out and was like, guys, I did actually cheat. I don't fucking believe him. I think he was just saying that because he felt peer pressured.
Also, he was promised
The bullying's
he
working.
won the competition, and he won the competition and never got to ask his question. Robbed.
So true.
Well, I did ask my
He
question.
did win the second. Yeah, he won the second trivia because
Yeah.
Keelan fucking cheated in the second one.
I did win, and I did ask my question. But the reason I asked these mathematical questions, Confluence, is if you think about it, we're talking about the ethics of veganism, and we think about it, ethics is part of philosophy, and math is applied logic, and logic is part of philosophy. So when you think about it, the mathematics is related to the philosophy.
I don't like that you're becoming slowly self-aware, Kirk. I don't like
Kirk,
it.
I have a question.
What?
When you say that math is applied logic, do you believe that everything in math can be explained with logic?
Actually, I don't know, because there was the Gödel incompleteness theorem where there's true but unprovable theorems given a set of axioms. So maybe not.
So how is math applied logic?
Well, because the Gödel incompleteness theorem doesn't apply to 99% of math. It doesn't apply to most arithmetic or most algebra or most calculus. The logic of mathematics is consistent for 99%. It's only a couple of questions where you can't prove the theorems from the axioms.
So there was someone who actually tried to prove everything in math using logic. There were multiple people, and they all failed.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying that's because of the Gödel incompleteness theorem, that there's true but unprovable theorems given the initial axioms.
So how is math applied logic?
I'm saying math in general is applied logic. I'm not saying it's always applied logic.
Winning trivia was promised to Kirk 3,000 years ago. What the fuck?
You think there's an overlap between math and logic, but you don't think math is applied logic?
It's not completely applied logic, no.
Okay.
But I was saying that they're related.
What are your favorite philosophy domains, Kirk?
I like epistemology, metaphysics, and mostly epistemology and metaphysics, and a little bit of aesthetics and ethics and politics, but mostly epistemology and metaphysics.
Okay. Oh, I was just curious. Epistemology, that's based. Fuck metaphysics, dude.
What are yours, Brandon?
I think just because I've been doing it for so long, probably ethics.
What about you, Confluence?
Same thing.
Ethics is probably the funnest to talk about, and philosophy of religion, and then probably metaphysics, because that's really the most important one if you think about it.
Isn't epistemology metaphysics?
Do you say isn't epistemology applied metaethics? Is that what you're saying?
Isn't epistemology metaphysics in the sense that epistemology studies how you'd come to know any metaphysical system to begin with?
Yeah, but you could say that about anything. You could say that, how do you come to know any moral system? I guess you could say, that's the whole thing about a branch of philosophy that deals with how you know things. I think it could be applied to every other branch in the sense that how do you know any of the stuff that you're claiming,
Yeah. But Confluence. Don't you think it's healthy that I'm trying to balance both my philosophy, but also with science and math, because I'm trying to be a whole, well-rounded person?
Kirk, you're like the least well-rounded person I've ever met in my life.
What do you mean?
It seems like you just not in a bad way. Not in a bad. Well, it sounds like a bad thing, but not in a bad way. You just have very like specific interests.
Yeah,
but you're kind of just trying to balance like different polarities with stuff that's like really adjacent to the other polarities. Like you should go fucking, I don't know, learn an instrument or something. Okay, you gotta balance things out in that way.
You know nothing about trout. How is that well-rounded?
Yeah, until you know the mating patterns of the rainbow trout.
When I'm saying well-rounded, I mean I'm well-rounded in the sense that I balance the philosophy with science and math because I'm not just focusing on philosophy.
I think that's good. I think they're all still in the intellectual domain though, which is very Kirk-coded, but that's fine.
Yeah, but that's also because I'm autistic.
I hate to agree with this advice. It hurts my soul. But Testy is right. You should finger a chick in a Denny's washroom.
Yeah, you'll drop all that philosophy nonsense.
It takes a lot for me to sign off on that prescription.
You do that one time, you'll be like, "Wow, I didn't realize philosophy was just a bunch of word cucking," and you'll drop all that shit.
Yeah, but I eat fast food and I jerk off, and
women can do that. Women
I don't think jerking off is the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah, I'd be scared to hit Kirk with a black light.
Oh, Jesus.
You just be glowing. You'd be radioactive.
Yeah, never go bowling, laser tag, nothing that involves black lights. Don't go near any fish.
Kirk, do not. If you get a first date, do not take them glow bowling. Okay, just remember that. It's not gonna go well for you.
We're all like, "You need to get laid, Kirk. You need to take a girl out on a date." He's like, "I watch porn and masturbate. What do you mean?"
Well, the problem is, 99% of women are not interested in Kirk things.
Yeah,
you don't talk to them about that stuff. That's right.
I think 98% of people aren't involved in Kirk things.
Yeah, but you got to find that 1%. Kirk, you can't stop looking for that 1% because maybe you'll find her.
Or him. It's 2026.
No, I'm attracted to woman confluence, but in any event, you see the problem here. My interests just don't resonate with most women.
Yeah, but you don't want to be with most women, do you?
Yeah,
you want to be with the one that resonates with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
Just
also live
kidnap
in Mississippi.
one. Just get it over with.
They're even less common here in Mississippi.
Oh shit!
I'm telling you, Kirk, look for the closest tower, climb up it, be a man, kidnap her, and just forget about it. Just forget about it.
Yeah, my girlfriend's always asking me annoying questions like, "Where am I and who are you?" So needy.
Yeah, my girlfriend's always asking me, "What are your thoughts about the ontological status of mathematical propositions?" I'm like, "Babe, I don't know."
That's why Brandon knows so much.
I get debate raped by my fiance.
Yeah, when you said girlfriend, that threw me off. I knew you had a fiance.
Sometimes it's a girlfriend, sometimes it's a wife. Brandon like lives in the past, present, and future when it comes to his woman. Okay,
kinda, yeah.
I'm just a figment.
The future already exists.
The future is now.
Yeah.
I'm a presentist, actually, Brandon. I'm a presentist. Unironically, only the present moment exists.
Well, technically, does the present ever exist if like moments keep changing?
Right, like big.
It's always the present.
In the past. Yeah.
What do you mean? Is it the present now or is it the present then?
By the time we talk about it, then what the moment is gone and we're in the past. So I understand why that feels confusing because it is confusing. But all that exists is the present moment. Nothing. The past doesn't exist. The future hasn't happened yet. You know.
Well, but to be clear, when we're talking about relativity of simultaneity and Einstein's special relativity, that would be the present moment within all the existing present moments, right? Because there's multiple present moments depending on your past light cone.
Are we never not in a, I guess, future? I guess I don't know how to frame that. Are we not always in the future because each moment is changing? And like, I mean, you can pinpoint the moment, but it's going to be a new moment.
Yes, as soon as you like pinpoint the moment. I mean, I remember seeing that in like some Vsauce video or something, which is interesting to think that like even by the time you see something and your brain processes it, you're not seeing it in the present moment, of course, right? So you never technically experience a present moment. Every experience you have is an experiencing of something that's already happened. So it's impossible, based on how the brain works, to actually be in the present in that sense. But
I mean, I think we've hit almost every branch of philosophy. What's next? You guys want to talk about epistemology or aesthetics?
But real quick,
we're speed running this shit.
If you're a presentist, would you at least acknowledge that there are multiple presents within the meta present because of the relativity of simultaneity?
Yeah, probably. Like, I guess, yeah. When I say present, I mean more like maybe a bit of woo-woo thrown in there. You know, I don't know about like the whole like I don't know if
Testy's fucking.
We love that woo-woo.
He's gonna rage in the comments after that.
like I don't know if there's fundamentally a difference between like me existing now and like someone who existed like 1,000 years ago. I don't know if there's actually a meaningful distinction between those things. Like, I think from our perspective, we're along a timeline, but someone brought this up before. I can't remember if it was Alex or somebody, but the movie, not Inception. What's the other? Interstellar. When he's like at the end of the movie, when he's like seeing time, he's like outside of time and seeing these moments happen. I feel like it's almost kind of like that, And I understand bringing up a movie for this is a bit cringe, but
that's
I have a question about that.
Fourth dimension.
This is out of my wheelhouse, but I just thought of this. If you're a presentist, you think the past doesn't exist, right?
Yeah, I don't think it has like any like ontological validity. But again, the second thing I mean is some woo-woo stuff about that. I think that we're on a current timeline now, but ultimately I think there is like some I don't think God is necessarily interacting with us differently than he was interacting with people 1,000 years ago. I think maybe those things are happening like concurrently at all times.
Because I was thinking like with something like if you say Aristotle existed and the past doesn't exist, we want to say that that's true, but on the presentist view, would that be false because it doesn't exist?
Not necessarily. So, are you, Brandon? Are you familiar with the concept of like the basically 4-dimensional space-time?
Vaguely.
So in Einsteinian special relativity and general relativity, you have an event which is in the past light cone of something, and so you can mathematically say it is a true proposition that Aristotle existed, but it doesn't exist within this present slice of the light cone. And that's perfectly compatible with presentism because you can just say, well, the current slice of the light cone exists, but it is the case that in the past light cone this existed.
But when you say it existed, okay, I would need to think about that.
It existed because it's in the past light cone an event. Like, and this is a problem with like non-physicists and like people who are not mathematicians who speculate about these things. I think because like when you're talking about these things, like the way physicists talk about time, it's in terms of like past, present, and future within a light cone, and it's like so far from like these philosophical speculations.
Sure, and that's what I wanted to say earlier. I do think it's good that you're mixing philosophy and science, to be clear. I think a lot of philosophers, they don't want to get in the realm of science or empirics. They just want to do philosophy, and I think that's an issue.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not an expert in like Riemannian geometry or anything, but I'm interested. But anyway,
this is tied in. We got our racism coming in. We got everything here. U.S. Happy White History Month, July just feels white to us. Happy White Boy Summer. K2, thank you for the $10, and Kirk is muted for 10 minutes, which might be actually all the time we have left, Kirk. I hate to say this. If you stick around, I'll let you ask one question at the end, though, not to cuck you. I don't want to cuck you like that, Kirk. Okay?
I want to get a question. I want to get a biblical question in.
Go ahead.
No, I'll let Kirk go first.
Time.
Yeah.
Kirk's muted.
Okay. So
that's why I'm letting him ask a question after his mute's over.
So you know the concept of the rainbow. What was a rainbow a promise of?
That God wouldn't, not that he wouldn't destroy the earth again, but that he wouldn't flood the earth again, which is kind of crazy because it specifically says that it's like he could destroy the earth in other ways. He's just not going to destroy it with water.
So this is where my question was going to lead, because it depends on how you view that, and then I would say, well, how would you explain a situation like Sodom and Gomorrah? But since you preferenced it with the specific of the flooding,
it's also the whole earth, right? It's also like it's not. I don't even think it's saying that God wouldn't like flood a specific city again. Like I don't think that ever happens in the Bible where it like says it. But yeah, that like KT said that God would not flood the earth again. I take that to mean in the way it was with Noah, where it's like, all of humanity, whether it's a local flood or all of the stuff that they thought mattered at the time, or a global flood. Which is a crazy thing when you do think of that promise, because it's like that's like if I killed one of your friends, Big Soda, with a knife, and I'm like, I'm never gonna kill someone you love again with a knife. You'd be like, pause, like, so you might shoot them, or you're just not gonna kill them with a knife. I don't know if that's not much consolation, but I worship Cosmic Turtle. We all worship Cosmic Turtle if you think about it.
I was watching something during the week, and she said the problem with philosophy and philosophers is that they spent no time in the laboratory.
In the bathroom?
No.
Laboratory?
I thought that's what y'all call that type of stuff.
Laboratory.
Yeah, they have that sophisticated English.
Yeah.
That lost 2 World War
with our tomatoes.
The fish god is perfectly interpretable through veganism. But don't say that, because then I shouldn't eat fish. That's the one thing I'm eating right now. Okay, so
I have
God is a
question.
fish. I'm fucked. I'm so fucked.
What is it?
What can change your mind about eating fish?
What can?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I just from what I've looked up, I could be wrong on this, because not a neuroscientist or whatever the fuck you would need to be, not a doctor who studies fish. I'm not even sure. Is that still hepatology? No, fish isn't a reptile, I guess, or herpetology, or whatever it's called. I don't know. Someone studies fish, if you think about it. And from the studies I've read, it feels like they don't have a complex enough like nervous system to like have anything that we would call suffering. Yes, and we've been down this before. It's like they have nociception, but like so does like an earthworm. Like nociception. Oh yeah, ichthyologists, of course. Yeah, thank you. They have nociception. They'll react to stimuli, but like so will fucking literally anything. Like so will the scallops that Brandon eats. Scallop lives matter. And so I'm not convinced by just saying it's an empirical thing. That's why I wouldn't eat an octopus, because I think from what I've learned they have like way more advanced stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I wouldn't eat that. But yeah, like a basic fish, I just don't think there's enough going on for it to have a conscious experience of suffering.
Yeah, but don't eat big fish because they're full of heavy metals. Because they've lived longer in the ocean.
You do have to limit. You're not supposed to eat like
health. Who cares about your health? I'm just going to find the empirics to change your mind then.
Well, I was going to say, your Messiah ate fish and provided fish.
That's true.
For you to justify that actually kind of makes sense to me, because I can't think of any other meat that Jesus partook in.
He ate. The only thing would be we know he ate lamb because of the Passover, but that's like a religious thing. Yeah, I don't think it ever says he like casually ate any other type of meat.
Confluence. You would even eat like predator fish that seem a hell of a lot sharper than regular fish, like sharks
or barracudas.
No, I don't. Like that's something I haven't looked up, but I didn't eat shark when I was like my whole life, even when I was like a normal meat eater, I wouldn't eat a shark. It feels like there's too much going on, but I don't know if there actually is. And plus, it's always like the shark fin stuff. That's the only time I ever see shark, and I just feel
that's cruel.
I was from some like cruel stuff. So like when I go, because I've seen that in like Japanese restaurants or whatever, and I just avoid that in general. And I haven't like looked into it enough to know like if a shark is
Also, sharks and swordfish, they tend to have a lot of cancers. You know that.
Why are you fine with eating trout? That's also
the fishermen just cut out the cancer.
It's not like big fish eat little fish. It's not like I just think like because a trout eats other fish that then it like has more going on. I just haven't been convinced. I guess that trout have Now I will say like it could be possible that this is still bad. I think you have to put a line somewhere to balance kind of your sanity and like do what you can with some of these issues. It's kind of like when you're trying to like buy like, you know, like ethically sourced things. It's like, well, we all have phones, and you know, the phones have cobalt. Yeah, there's some things that maybe are just like too onerous to like deal with. And so for me, I feel like something I'm morally comfortable with seems to be the fish thing, where it's like maybe there is some amount of suffering here, but to me, it's like there's just too many things in life to care about. We're overloaded with like moral questions constantly. I think it's a balance that I found where I'm like, okay, I feel okay about this, and I don't feel like guilty about this. And so I think it would be okay to do. And I think because you could drive yourself crazy with like trying to like morally, you know, like do all of these things at once, right? If you're like checking every item of clothing you buy to see like where it was made and what the conditions were, like it becomes a bandwidth problem at a certain point, you know? And both like time spent and also just like moral bandwidth about how many issues you can like care about.
You see that, Kirk? He's a well-rounded person. He knows stuff about trout.
I know you have to go really quick. Have I hit you with the Predator, out of order Predator stuff?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll try to make it really quick. I'm going to use an analogy. I think because sharks is what caused me to think about this. I think they're odd order predators in the food chain. I'm assuming they're at the top, right? And they just
what is odd? What does odd order mean?
It depends on the shark.
If you were to look at like a hierarchy of like an ecosystem, you have like a shark, and then you have maybe a tuna. Below that, shark will eat the tuna. Tuna will eat the thing below it, and so on and so on. So it's like first, third, fifth, whatever.
Actually, killer whale is at the top.
It depends.
Sure. But that's kind of irrelevant. I can just make the point with the analogy. Like if a shark we know is going to, I don't know, kill 10 babies in the future, right? Like we know this shark, there's babies for some reason swimming in the water. Would it be okay to kill that shark?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Now you just run name the trait with the animals. Like we know that sharks are going to do this. They're going to disproportionately kill the amount of, I guess, fish that are in the sea relative to what can fucking kill them, right? So, but you would think, would it be okay to kill the shark? Because we know the shark is going to eat all those fish. Would it be okay to kill the shark in that case?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because then I'm just going to, if you say no, I'm just going to run name the trait.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Mm-hmm. But I guess ultimately it's like, I think humans, I still just like, I think the name of the trait is interesting, but at the end of the day, I think humans are just more important. I have a anthropocentrism that's based on like my spiritual and like religio takes and stuff. And so if we're talking about killing a shark because it's going to kill 10 human babies, then yeah, I'm going to kill that shark. But if we're just saying, oh, it's going to eat a bunch of salmon or tuna or whatever, it's like there's maybe a level of like of nature interventionism that I don't know if I can really justify this, but there's a level of intervening where I feel like it's a bit maybe untoward. Like we've talked about this, and I was happy with your answer because a lot of people say that, right? That if you're like, let's say doing, nature, you're like doing like some type of research or whatever in some random country, and you see something untoward happening. It's like the video like where those lions are like all eating that baby elephant, right? And I asked you if you'd shoot those lions, and you said you would, and I said hell yeah, brother, because that's the best thing to do. And I would do that, but if it was just like there's a lion and I'm in Africa, should I shoot the lion because I know it's going to eat a bunch of gazelles in the future? Like to me, that's like a form of like nature interventionism where I'm like, I didn't make this place, there's animals are just here, they're eating other animals. If I see the act, I'm going to stop it. Do I feel like I have the right, I guess, to like go and just kill that lion sitting there? I don't think I could really justify that unless I saw it doing something untoward in the act.
Yeah, I mean, this is like putting practical concerns to the side because obviously my view is I would want to try to contain them, maybe genetically modify them to where they don't have to eat animals alive. maybe they can survive off of fucking plants that we feed them. Like, if we take all those concerns to the side, I think it's probably justified to kill certain animals like that.
Now is my mood over?
Yes.
Okay, so I think that I mean, I just think that there's a clear distance between things. Real quick, do you have to get going now?
I'll give you like 5 minutes, just because I don't want you
just
I don't want to leave as soon as
5
you got
minutes
unmuted.
too, please. 2 minutes.
Just as my final question, have you heard of either like a Laplace or a Fourier transform?
Say no.
I've heard the name. I don't remember what a Fourier transformation or whatever the fuck it is. I have to look it up.
So a Fourier transform is a formula that tries to find basically. It tries to get the frequency of, I think, like a time signal, but it's basically used to simplify like complex data sets or complicated data sets.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know if that really helps my understanding at all, but that's fine.
Dude, this computer's pissing me off. I watched most of stream on my phone, but my RAM was set to the incorrect thing, and I have some sort of corrupted driver or something. And
that sucks.
yeah, it should be fixed. Fingers crossed. But Confluence, why are you leaving, dude? What the fuck, bro?
Because Confluence has to wake up at like 5:30 tomorrow.
Dude, just call in sick.
Wait, hold on. I have a question for you, Confluence. I have a question for you.
Yes, we do.
If you would kill the shark that would kill 5 babies if you didn't, shouldn't you kill Ronald McDonald?
Should I like Luigi Mangione, Ronald McDonald, because he's
fast food is going to kill millions of people. Like, do you know?
This is where, like, to me, I think, not to bring up volition again, but I think volition is incredibly important. Agency is incredibly important. Those babies, if they're getting eaten by a shark, they're like that's not them killing themselves. That's not making them. They're not making bad decisions that's causing them to die. McDonald's, that's like, you have the freedom to buy McDonald's. Everyone knows that McDonald's is not like the healthiest thing to eat. So it's like, I don't really see McDonald's as necessarily doing like an immoral action for existing.
Okay, fair point.
Would you eat the parents because they bought McDonald's for their child?
Should you kill China?
Should you kill China?
The whole entity.
Polluting the
Should we
planet.
just like nuke China?
The US and China trade back and forth from the number 1 and number 2 spot in terms of polluting.
And we're punching above our weight, Sky. Like, you have to realize we only have 300 million people. They have over 1 billion.
Yeah, that's right.
I always say China's eating our ass. I always say that.
We probably don't have time for this. I don't want to actually keep you if you're about to leave, because my whole thing was a can of worms. It was on the free will thing. And I was like, I couldn't chime in.
Okay, hit us. We can do another like 5 minutes.
Before you go, can I just land the plane? Can I just finish my sentence? One sentence left.
Yeah. Sure.
Have you heard of Brian Cox, the physicist, the English physicist? He was asked, "What is the greatest threat to life on this planet?"
You say China?
You say China or McDonald's?
Well, yeah, kind of. He said mankind.
Ooh, that's good. We are cancer on the earth.
What a gay answer.
Well, that's what he said.
It's just such an obvious answer. It's so stupid. It's like, yeah, no kidding. So with great power comes great responsibility and stuff. Okay.
So
there's your Boy Slop reference for the night.
So I kind of had this. I can't remember if it was a conclusion or just like a point that I had reached, which was that I think that free will probably doesn't exist, but we are sort of forced to interact and engage with the world as if it does. Like there's no other choice, and it's kind of leans into what Confluence was saying, which is like we are sort of the source of our experiences, right? So like as a single observer, or whatever you want to say. Brandon represented the determinist view decently, and even brought up compatibilism. But I think that like there's this theory that you could say like a decision that you're going to make, like any decision that you decide to make, you could theoretically trace back to a previous decision all the way until you were like a baby, right? But it's like a regress to a point where eventually you won't be able to trace that. Like maybe when you were a child, even subconsciously, like you saw like the color red and you really liked that color on a car or something, and like all of these tiny things in our experiences and like our parents' preferences, all those things will like could be traced theoretically to a previous decision. And so free will in that regard is sort of removed when you look at the grand scheme of I guess more of our core identities. You could, but in terms of like the raising your hand, or I'm going to like step off of the curb here instead of over there, I do take a little bit more of that compatibilist view. Although, as Brandon said, it does kind of redefine free will in order to do
I think at least it defines free will in a coherent way. I don't, like I said, I don't know what libertarian free will people are talking about. Right. And just to talk about the point, because you were talking about like how these little things accumulate over time. That's why I asked the question earlier. An agent makes a decision between A and B. They choose A. What explains why that agent chose A over B? Right. Because if they give an explanation, right, that's consistent with determinism. If they say there is no explanation, that's consistent with randomness.
Goddamn China.
Which isn't free will.
And on that,
you said Asians?
And I disagree with what Brandon's saying there. I disagree. I don't know why it would have to be randomness as opposed to.
I'm just going to tack onto that really
consistent with randomness.
But like, yeah, because when we discuss randomness, we say that like at least within computer systems and all these things, like there is no true randomness, right? Like you can always go into the code, into the binary bits, like down to that level, and you can determine how a machine reached its conclusion. And they do this for like trouble when you see errors and things like that. And so, at least within that realm, we say there is no randomness. When we talk about randomness in, I guess, a more abstract sense, we're talking about these, I don't know, crazy, insanely complex systems within the universe or something like the butterfly effect, where it's like, well, the atoms here pushed in this way that affected these things, right? Like all of these things could have some sort of causal chain to them, but we would never be able to get down to that type of level to be able to observe these things. Yeah. So then how can you really say there's true randomness?
Well, for example, in quantum physics, you have the Born rule, which is a probability distribution that governs the frequency in the limit of events, right? But the Born rule is inherently probabilistic, and so it's not deterministic.
We said probabilistic. Are you saying that it is random?
Probabilistic in the sense that it's governed by a probability distribution.
So yes, it would be governed by a random variable that follows a probability distribution.
Yes, but it's not randomness in the sense that anything can happen. It can happen within the distribution.
Okay, I don't know what that means. I'm sorry.
So there's not an infinite. There's not an infinite amount of things that could happen. But among the things that could happen, there's more than one possibility given the initial conditions.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So maybe so there's a limited set of possible conclusions, but it is you're sort of defining a set, or it's within this set of things. These things could happen.
Yes, is it within the sample space? There's multiple possibilities.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
So is it like when you plant a seed, you're going to get a plant, but you're definitely not going to get an elephant?
Kinda, but you're not guaranteed to get one specific plant. You could get a fruit, or you could get a watermelon, or you could.
It's like corn. Let's say you're playing like Dark Souls, and there's like a 10% chance that the enemy drops like a black halberd, or there's a 10% chance that it drops a piece of moss. So it can't drop anything. It can't drop like a boss weapon, but it has to be within that probability distribution.
The wall that I kind of was coming up against is when we talk about free will, and it's like this intentionality, or I guess volition, or however whatever adjectives you may use to describe it. I think that I guess the comparison would be that there are things I think that we would have to almost concede are random, just because we're unable, and it's sort of what at least Keelan hinted at, or was saying as well, is that just because we're not able to calculate down to these micro variables to understand how these complex systems interact with one another, that still doesn't sort of disprove a deterministic sort of position, I guess.
Yeah, you're never going to be able to disprove it. I think my only argument is just that we have such a strong experience, especially I get your whole thing about there's causal change, and you might think that you're picking this red thing for one reason, and maybe it comes down to some core memory you have, or even further down in that. I get that, but that's why I'm using the example, which I know you did note. But it's like in that moment when you're just choosing between two things that aren't emotionally loaded, and you're in that state where you, at least to the best of your kind of introspective thinking, you are just purely making a volitional act between two things that are of little consequence. And I don't know how that doesn't feel like there's some volitional act there.
No,
as an act that you could have chosen otherwise. You raise one hand, you could have chosen. It's not random because you were choosing to do this. You were an agent making this decision.
But what you said there kind of hits the nail on the head. It does feel that way, and this is why I say that even.
Well, right, that's all I have. Yeah, it might be completely wrong. Yeah.
Well, yeah, 100%. But I'm kind of saying we reach the same conclusion in sort of a different way, because I say even if the universe is deterministic, or if I have to believe in these principles, then I still feel like humans necessarily have to behave as if free will exists. So it's like, it's almost
right.
It almost necessitates I have to accept the condition, and it does come down to that personal thing of like, I would like to think that my choices are my own. They feel like my own choices. I feel like I'm doing these things, but yeah, ultimately it is.
I think
well, if you're a compatibilist, they are your own, right? They're your own desires, dude. You know,
that's why I lean to that position.
To me, it's like, I think this ties in, and I don't know if these things have to be tied in, but this ties in with like everything. Like, I feel like the real answer to all of life is that either like everything means everything or nothing, or everything means nothing. Like, because if I think of free will is,
sorry,
I know, but I think it's true. Like, because if we're gonna say no, like, even though I have all the evidence, at least of my own experience, to think I'm making acts, the reality is that itself is an illusion. Now we have to live. Everyone has to live as if it's not an illusion, but ultimately it is. Then I would say, well, what about your consciousness in general? Your sense of self that you have an I? That's illusory too, then, right? Like, and then what about moral claims? Well, then you're Brandon, it's all just your preferences, and you don't know even what Brandon doesn't even know what I mean when I say there's like morality outside of just ourselves, right? So it's like, I think you just end up with where all these things that we think that we hold near and dear, they're all illusory, and that could be the case. Like, maybe like ultra nihilism is the truth. But to me, it's like those things all like hinge together. If we're going to say free will is an illusion, we might as well say there's no actual sense of self, and that too is an illusion. It's all properties of brain states. It's all nonsense.
This is because for you,
it is a spiral. That's how it go.
Well, because it all leads to like nihilism for you, and it's like, I feel like I can never quite get you back from that brink, because you're just like, well, if the logical conclusion, it's going to lead to this place where it's just like.
I'm not even talking about nihilism in like a sad boy way. I just mean, do you disagree at least with the spiral chain I'm building? Like, do you think it makes sense to say that determinism is true, but no, when we talk about when I talk about you having an I, that I somehow isn't illusory? Like, I think those things live and die together. Why would we not just say that when you think of yourself as you're just meaning your memories, you're meaning your emotions, you're meaning all of these different aspects of yourself, your subconscious, but you could pull any one of those apart, you could change your brain. So there is no I that is Testy. It's Testy himself is an illusion. Like, I don't think that's spiraling in like a nonsensical way. I think that's just like following the fucking garden trail.
I mean, sure. I mean, because this can even be demonstrated, right? When people have certain accidents or they have brain injuries, it can change fundamental parts of their personality. Or like,
right. See, so you don't even disagree. So I'm spiraling, but in a way that's logical.
Right. Yeah. There's some logic to it. Yeah. So why don't you accept that position? I guess.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think all those things hinge and die together, and so So again, it could be the case that that's true. But we'd have to deny everything, I guess, that our experience is telling us, that there is a sense of self, that we do, that there is something about morality that is like meaningful beyond just what we prefer, that we have some type of free will, like all of these things that are like core. We almost just have to pretend that they exist anyway, because Brandon pretends that morality exists anyway, right? I know he just says it's his preferences, but he acts like he has the same response as I do if we saw like a horrific act, right? So for all intents and purposes, he acts as if morality is objective. I would say, like,
no, you act
philosophically,
as if it's
we might disagree.
You see something fucked up, and you're like, I really want to stop that.
I agree. Yeah, but we have to. But none of us we're not gonna sit there, most of us, in those moments and just think this is just. Even though we try, we might say it's my personal feelings that if I see an infant being tortured, I just don't like that. No, there is some like deep desire to say no. That is like a wrong thing happening. Like, there's something that I think wells up inside of us that wants to say that. And there's something that makes us want to say that ourselves actually exist, and we're not just like an emergent property of like bubbling, brain states and whatever, right? And
so is it not instinctive to want to that we are made to want to protect our young? So it's not really our choice.
Well, I think we are, but it's just like what? Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, I think I agree.
Instinct.
With what you're making.
Yeah, I think that's a good note to end on.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
some points of agreement, a little taste for the future of what we might fight about. Tomorrow is trivia,
and then it shouldn't give troubles from here on out. So,
hopefully you fixed your shit.
Of the bloody trivia.
Trivia is going to be 2 truths, 1 lie. You will be given 2 true statements, 1 lie. You got to figure out.
Subject? Is there a subject?
I don't even think there is a subject. I don't even think there is one.
Oh, dude,
2 truths and a lie.
I watched that shit on. I watched some of those on YouTube. It's like science things, and it's like videos, and one of them is doctored, and then it's like you gotta pick. Yeah, so like if it's that kind of shit, I'm stoked for that.
Well, popular science is pretty bad. Popular science is garbage.
We're not going down a Kirk rabbit hole.
Let's change it slightly.
Categories. Science from like Stephen Hawking.
2 girls, 1 cup.
The Riemann hypothesis is not popular science.
Is it real shit? Sorry.
I wouldn't even consider that to be science. That's like
I love you.
Math than it is.
No Riemann hypothesis. Okay. God bless you guys. God bless you, Brandon. God bless you, Joy. God bless you, Keelan. God bless you, Cool Kid Kirk. Please, Rage Page, Vegan, anyone else who's still here. Sports Brand. Take care, you guys. Les Sheaf. Right. 07s, guys. If I missed you, I don't mean to. God bless all of you. To be clear, see you tomorrow for trivia, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be there. 07s. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bow.